What the fuck is up, Carnival Spirits? It's Beastmaster and Cali Green, Too Fresh, back up on this motherfucker, live streaming on Facebook and YouTube simultaneously with the third episode of the Juggalo AD series. And we're talking about the Tempest, son. Yo, what's good, Cali Green?
Chilling, man, chilling. Just ready to get into it. So far we've done, for those of you who just are now tuning in, haven't been keeping up with the series, Juggalo AD, we're talking about everything after the arrival of the 6th, after Hell's Pit, starting with the Calm and moving along.
So we already covered that, right? This is episode 3. The first 2 episodes cover the Calm. The Calm is just a sideshow. It took 2 episodes just to cover that.
Yeah. And let's be honest here, though. We're not just covering, though, the Calm or the Tempest. We're talking Juggalo AD. So this is the entire Carnival grounds. We're talking Twisted, Jump City, everything going on within the era that ICP has created.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as you were saying, though, we last left off with the Calm, and we're going into the Tempest now. Do you remember what was the last album that came out right before the Tempest?
Dude, I don't like it when you trivia question me. You know, I didn't do any preparation for this, all right? You got your fucking talking points. If you are asking me a question you already know the answer to, just fucking tell us.
All right. So the last album before the Tempest arrival was Boondocks, The Harvest, brand new artist.
I wasn't gonna fucking think of Boondocks. I mean, I'm sorry, but like, look, I got my collection. Hey, I was there for every fucking step of the way, but I've said this before and I'll say it again. I've forgotten more about Juggalo shit over the past 20 years than most kids will ever learn in their lifetime. You know what I mean?
The last album to drop was Boondocks, The Harvest, but technically right after that we got the Wraith remix albums. So,
you know, when ICP drops something, it's a lot different than when their label drops something. I'm just saying, right? Because you know that the level of interest is just way higher when ICP's name is involved. And so when they put out other artists, we talked about this in the last episode last week. You know, obviously there's ICP features on Boondocks. It's like everybody on Psychopathic has got a fucking feature with ICP, you know, and that's kind of that's really fucking dope. But yeah, so they put out the remix albums. I mean, look, they're remix albums, man. Like, some people love remixes, but I would say the majority of people usually like originals better than remixes. Just say, I like overall, like just as a, you know what I mean? Like,
sure, there's that rare chance or occasion when a remix song comes out and it's better than the original. But
ironically, one of those situations is Chicken Hunting.
Right?
Chicken Hunting. First version of that song is great. It's dope. Ringmaster is my shit. You know, but the Slaughterhouse mix is just it is so right for the times, you know, and it just sounds so right. I don't know. It's perfect. It's like the
It's funny because the remix version, that's actually the first ICP song I ever heard was Chicken Hunting Slaughterhouse mix. And then I heard the original version later. I'm like, oh, but I like this one.
You know, I don't mean to jump ahead because this isn't even where we're going in the conversation, but off of the Tempest, just because this is the era that we're speaking on, the Tempest era, what was remixed? Was it Two Dope's Alley Rat? I think Alley Rat got a remix on a DJ Clay mixtape. But other than that, like, is that it? Or was something else remixed off of the Tempest? I'm kind of putting that out there because I can't think of any other song. Like, I'm thinking of other songs from, like, you know, High Rise, but that's Eye of the Storm. That's like next episode, right?
Yeah, no, nothing. That's it. We almost got like another version of Growing Again recently, which would have been Shrinking Again.
That would have been like a spiritual sequel, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Other than that, though, no, there's nothing. Nothing. And then also this album, it has no features.
High Rise isn't on the Tempest. It's on Eye of the Storm. That's an EP that comes. So we're literally covering, like, I don't know, the era. And you know, I guess High Rise is in the era of the Tempest because, I mean, are these sideshows really a whole era, or are they just the potatoes of the era? You know.
You see, like with the Calm, I feel it's a little different because we're ending an era with the Calm and then opening a new chapter. It's almost
so it's like you're in limbo. It's like when you elect a new president, but you still have 2 months before he takes office. Like, what the fuck is going on right now?
Exactly. Another thing to point out is just like with the Tempest, Eye of the Storm came out months, like literally a few months after the release of the Tempest. That was the way they did Eye of the Storm with Hell's Pit. It came out like less than a year later. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It's just a nice little format I noticed there. But yeah, era. So before the Tempest came out, last non-ICP album to drop was Boondocks.
And let me just say, like, for hardcore juggalos that followed ICP through the eras of the first Joker's cards, you know, and was there for the sixth and kind of like bore witness to that and stuck around after, like, for, you know, because some juggalos didn't, you know, some juggalos were like, fuck this shit, or they're like, the Calm sucks, fuck the Calm. So it's like they're not even, like, seriously, some people dropped the hatchet like it was hot around this era.
For sure.
It is.
For sure. But from this, like, not just this, like, era, but the era before it, the era after it, like, this is the weird time for juggalos. But at the same time, it was them reforming the label because we lost, you know, we almost lost Twisted. We lost Esham and ABK. And then we also lost Alex Abyss. So we're bringing on Billy Bill. We're bringing on Boondocks. We're bringing on Axe Murder Boys. It's a whole new roster.
A real good sign of the times is at the end of the Tempest on If I Was a Serial Killer. They literally shout out everybody on the roster on that song. Twisted, Boondocks, and Lotus. You know, they throw that out there. They're like Mikey Clark, Twisted, Boondocks, and Lotus. So you know what I mean? Like, even Mikey, Axe Murder Boys didn't get a shout out on that, but
well, Axe Murder Boys was a one contract, like one album deal, and then
they're not there yet. They have already left. They have to leave and come back. Like that, their story has not been told yet. I mean,
exactly. Their story is barely begun, and the beginning of their story is literally, they won a contract for one album. They put out that one album, and then they kind of went into limbo.
I can tell you from my memory that, you know, right before this, like, actually should have talked about this in the last episode because I think it was that era. 2006, Blaze Ya Dead Homie did a tour called the Tombstone Terror Tour.
Right.
Okay. I that was because, you know, on my 20 and 20 Bizarre History, the Bizarre documentary that homeboy Joker's Gallery did, I talked about how I was going to all these shows and on the Bizarre tour, I went to a show in Florida. Turns out, this is a funny sidebar, all right? Right after my segment is Suicide segment, and he talks about going to his first clown show in Florida. Turns out, that show I went to in Florida was Suicide's first show. Like, we... And he's like, bro, you were at my first show. You know, of all places, like southeast Florida, like a place I'd never been before, but I just went there for that show. Okay, so My point is I went to Florida for Blaze's Tombstone Terror tour. Okay, so on that tour was like I don't know, like Psycho Jesus, Low Key, Axe Murder Boys. Those are the names. Like I remember Tampa Wicked was the hype man for Psycho Jesus. So J10 was there. You know what I mean? And so in Florida at the St. Pete's, Janice Landing is the name of the venue, and then there's like a huge after party on Gandy Beach, and it's just all the juggalos on the fucking beach mixing it up with the toothless fucking local crackheads and shit, and that was just a funny moment. I'm going to tell 2 stories from this, and then we're moving on. Like being in that environment, like going to a clown show in a Florida weather environment, and then going to that after party and on the beach, just out there with all the juggalos, including the artists. Okay. So I remember this crackhead came up to me and was like, "Hey, what's up, fam? What's up, juggalo?" or whatever, and like really trying to fucking sell me with the family thing, and then trying to sell me drugs. And I was just like, "Who took the chicken off the plate and put it in the fridge?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, man, no doubt I did. I love chicken." I'm like, "Yeah, you're just trying to fucking scam me. You're just trying to sell drugs to me. You're just trying to fucking," like, I totally fucking gave him the quiz and he failed. All right. And the other thing is, like, we were rubbing elbows with everybody on that tour. Like, we were smoking blunts with Blaze. All right. So remember Pickles? Pickles was like, on the road crew for Psychopathic back in the day. He got shout outs and things. Pickles, remember that name?
Vaguely. Yeah.
Well, anyway, we befriended and talked with him, and it was a good time was to be had by all. And my final story is, yeah, Blaze your dead homie, chilling on the beach, smoking with the juggalos, and he had a crowd around him. I'm not gonna lie, it was like Thor was standing there, and everyone's like, "Thor," you know what I mean? But it was Blaze, and everyone's like, "Blaze," and everyone's smoking with him, and he's like, "Slow down, one at a time. It's all good. Just pass it." He had to like tell everyone to calm down. It's like Santa Claus saying, "Hey, I will get everyone on my knee eventually. Just one at a time, kids." Like, and so yeah, we had a really good night, really chill, no problems, no fights. But here's my other memory: Axe Murder Boys just standing there on the beach, nobody hound dogging. Nobody giving props. Nobody caring 2 fucks. Like, everyone was all about Blaze, and then Axe Murder Boys were just like, yeah, what's up? Like, not saying that anyone was hating. It's just that juggalos didn't give a fuck. Like, no one cared. You know what I mean? They weren't anywhere on a level yet where they were getting
fresh. They still had their fucking diapers on, bro.
Hey, I'm not hating. I'm just saying this is what happened. Like Blaze had 30 people around him, and then right there, like 3 feet away, probably were Axe Murder Boys, like probably laughing amongst themselves, like, "Look at all these hound dogs on Blaze," or something. I mean, I don't know. Like, I was enjoying the moment. It was really fun. Like, Blaze was being more than cool to a situation that was like,
no,
we're out on a beach. It's not like it was a fucking in-store. You know what I mean? Like,
I gotta say that's so fucking fresh. That roster right there, stacked. Low Key, Psycho Jesus, like both in their prime.
Yeah, yeah. And I got to see that show in Worcester in Massachusetts, and then I went down to visit my homeboy in Florida, saw it down there. It was dope. It was dope.
Like, I would have loved to have heard some of the songs that A&B did back then, because there's songs they don't do now.
Right.
And that's such a rare fucking opportunity. That's so dope that you got to do that. That's definitely a tour I wish I would have been on.
But anyway, that was like right before the Tempest era, and a lot went down in the Tempest era, so we should probably get to that.
2007 started with the Tempest. That was the first album to drop that year. And then 2007 was pretty fucking stacked. This is the year that Psychopathic Records started their YouTube channel. They started being really big, being pushed in Hot Topic around this time. The roster was putting out fucking hit after hit. Immediately following the Tempest was Boondocks' Pumpkinhead.
Pumpkinhead was dope.
Pumpkinhead was, yo, this right here.
I like that album.
It's so fucking underrated, honestly. I mean, like, just take off, the 2 remixes, which are fresh. But it's like we were saying earlier, who gives a fuck about the remixes? But just Pumpkinhead, Sleep Stalker, Southern Nights, Suffering, solid. This was just a dope, solid little fucking release.
I don't remember, but I might be misremembering, but I think I actually like those remixes on that EP.
They weren't bad. They actually weren't bad. Like, you can actually just listen to this. You know what I mean? And not sometimes, when the remix comes on, you just want to skip it. Like, you'll just let these play through. They're not bad.
Because remixes are it's like anything goes. It's like, how far can you push it? It's like, how juxtaposition, what kind of extreme can we go with, Well,
Boondocks was also still fresh fucking meat. I believe his album came out in like December, like November, December. And then
I love it. Cali Green, you have these like prison analogies where the new guy on the roster of a record label is like fresh fish in a prison, like to be fucking.
Yo, it's Psychopathic Records. You got Juggalos as your crowd. It's a tough crowd.
Yeah, it's almost and it's like, and the Juggalos are there with fucking quarters.
It wasn't accepted in the beginning. Look how long it took. They weren't really accepted until their second album. It is what it is. It's the Juggalo world. It is
very interesting, like what the Juggalos choose to embrace.
A&B, that's another prime example, because whenever God's Hand came out, that shit went hard and they started getting their props, so
I think that's when they started earning their props, because I do remember God's Hand being the first Axe Murder Boys album that I saw friends of mine taking seriously who weren't taking A&B seriously before, and I'm just saying, like, you got a friend who like doesn't like an artist, even if you do, maybe you don't play that artist around that friend, because because you're considerate. I'm not talking about the internet where I'm like, I post on my wall, it's my wall, I do what I want, like, and you don't give a fuck if you don't like it, unfriend me or whatever. Like, no, I mean, look, when you're chilling with your boys, or maybe you got those rules in your car, and you like, you know what, Callie, I forget that I'm very much a loner. And I know that people that are more social than me love to like bust chops constantly, like the movie Grandma's Boy, or just like any fucking fun-loving, carefree, individual, and anyone enjoying their freedoms and just loving life. I mean, I'm just saying, like, some people are a little bit uptight and are less easygoing, and maybe they got more struggles and challenges and or mental disorders. Anyways, my point is ICP draws a crowd, man. What a fucking wide spectrum, like a huge melting pot. There's no other way to put it. The Juggalo melting pot is thick and rich with fucking like really intense motherfuckers that do and do not like certain things, and they will fucking scream to high heavens about what it is they don't like.
Right.
So yeah, when an artist gets embraced by Juggalos of like massive, like I don't know, like your Tech Nines, or I guess who else have Juggalos embraced? Cottonmouth Kings. Those are the big ones.
Tech Nine. Those are the big ones.
But there are other, like pretty much anyone that has played gatherings multiple times. Any of those ninjas, your Jelly Rolls.
Right. Right, yeah, the Juggalo world, it's a tough crowd, and especially whenever you're bringing in an artist that no one's heard of, fresh, brand new, which is what they tend to do, Like,
what I would love to see? I would love to see like somebody like make like baseball trading cards of these motherfucking rappers and there would be a different card for a different era, just like you'd have a different Topps or Flair card for a different baseball player for a different season, right? So you'd have your Tempest era Boondocks rookie card, or you know what I mean? Like it's his rookie card on the back where it shows your batting average and your score and shit. It's gonna show you your record sales and your fucking. I mean, it's gonna give your stats, right?
Yeah.
It'll show your album and your EP statistics or whatever. Fun. I mean, I just think that it would be fun to have these trading cards and then bicker over their fucking stats.
Yeah. Like trading cards have been done, Twisted with Wicked, they did a set of trading cards.
I know, and I have so many. I should bust them out. Not now, but
that's going to be next episode because we're only going to 2007. We're going to focus on 07.
yeah, I know, but I'm saying like I have those cards. Like I actually have things to bust out today. I'll wait,
Yeah, I think it was Underground Nation or someone like that. Someone put out some trading cards. So, but not to the extent that you're talking. That's a whole nother level.
Yeah, that was a random fucking idea. Maybe I'll do it.
Oh, that's dope. That'd be fucking seller for sure.
Of course, I would need help, getting facts for the I need like fact checkers, Juggalo fact checkers. Simple as that. I mean, absolutely. If I try to do that and I get any facts wrong, motherfuckers will let me know about it.
Oh, for sure. I'll let you know. I'll probably be the first on a lot of things.
Well, anyway, you know what this reminds me of? Like when you hear the commercial for Spasmatic on the Tempest, homies of mine, like I remember them telling me like, oh yeah, when I first heard that, I thought it was just a skit. And then I got to the show and they were selling them. It was a real commercial. Like it actually was like, we're not sorry if we tricked you.
You have that commercial if you want to go ahead and cue that up. I remember
that's around a good segue.
Yeah, that's a nice little segue there because I want to do like I was saying, 07, that's the year that Psychopathic Records started their YouTube channel. So they were busting out commercial after commercial, and we have one for Spasmatic. And I remember when this shit first dropped, I was working Hot Topic.
Sorry, it started playing automatically.
But whenever the Spasmatic energy drink came out, I was working at Hot Topic at the time, and I remember getting a box, and my manager opened it, and he started laughing, and he's like, "Hey, Doug, got something for you." I'm like, "What?" And he like pulled out, the can of Spasmatic. I'm like, "What the fuck is that?" This is before the commercial, before the Tempest actually dropped. We started getting.
What are you saying? You're going around the world here. Are you saying that you like got to try Spasmatic before anyone knew about it? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I guess because it had to have been. It was around the time that the Tempest was coming out, but it hadn't dropped yet, and we got Spasmatic. I worked at it was the Hot Topic Universal Studios in Hollywood, #1 merchandise selling store in the company. So we got our shit. We were a big test site for a lot of things. We're the tourist spot, so we got a lot of shit. I heard. I actually got to hear the Tempest before it came out. Like I want to say it came out on a Friday. I heard it like Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that we played it in my store because Hot Topic, they used to send out like a CD, like an update thing that updated. It was a CD and it updated their entire system. So it would add all the new music to the Hot Topic radio. And you were able to actually go in there and pick what you wanted to listen to. Well, the Tempest was on there because we installed it, a couple days before we were supposed to. And we got the Tempest and I listened to it and it was, it was different. I remember thinking that it was fucking different. But
we need to listen to this first because obviously they put out the the actual video commercial for Spasmatic, right? But first, we got the album, and on the album we got this, which was a hidden track at the end of Humdrum Boogie. All right, here it is.
Yo, I knocked over 3 liquor stores, a Subway, and a 7-Eleven, all off one can of Spasmatic. Get up, get one, and get lit. ICP Spasmatic Energy Sauce comes in 5 fruity fucking frothy flavors. Yo, I fucked 4 hookers, got 2 Asian tans, went home, and still fucked my wife. All on one can of Spasmatic. Available now.
I think I might have missed some of the beginning of that. Sorry, but you get the gist.
Shit's hilarious.
I'm not going to go back to the beginning. Yeah, because I queued that up when it was almost silent while you were talking. But yeah, let me pull up the other one. Even if you want to set it up still. But look, these there weren't 5 fucking flavors, was there? There was just one. That was a lie, first of all. What was the next song on the Tempest? Was it Bitch I Lied? Because that makes sense. I don't think it was.
Nah, it was I Do This.
Anyways, like, okay, so just this the whole thing about people being annoyed at the Tempest for being a roller coaster. Like they thought it was going to be like a huge like you know, like the storm that Bizarre Bazaar was hinting at in those intro tracks, like, oh, it's going to be fucking bedlam. And it's, you know what I mean? I feel like, oh, it's just a roller coaster was a lot of people's reaction. Sorry if I'm, you know, like calling anyone out, but if you were one of those people that was like, oh, it's just a roller coaster, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I thought it was dope. I thought it made sense, right? And it was fresh because it was the first track, you know, Ride the Tempest. So the song is called Ride the Tempest, and it's the largest, widest, tallest, fastest, or whatever the fuck, you know, in all this roller coaster. Yep. Got mine on the wall right behind me there. It's way back there, but thank you, Callie. Hold that a little closer so people can see how the tracks are going in and out of the fucking ether. It's like fucking Thor 2 up in that bitch.
I mean, you see the storm.
And by the way, shout out to everybody watching, everybody in the fucking chat. I see you, Kyle Driver, Don Chaos, Joker's Gallery, Nobody Man, Josh, Chris, Nintendo Fan Guy Rules #1. Whoop whoop. Yeah, Callie, Spasmatic, man. I bought a few. I have a few that, I mean, I saved the cans. I obviously am that motherfucker that will save full cans of things. And remember I did that live stream where I drank a 17-year expired can of Faygo?
Yeah.
Well, somewhere around this piece, I've got an unopened can of Spasmatic. Or did I? You know what? I cracked that open and I drank that with everybody sitting around the lounge table at DCG Con 2.5, almost 3 years ago now.
Crank it in that like crazy fucking ESA.
Yeah, that was really fucking dope. And you know, it's funny that it's not funny, but you know, DCG didn't happen the following year, and I had footage lined up, like highlights of that every Saturday afternoon, because that was like a long fucking stream, and there's different sections that have different freshness. So I had like that video all chopped up with different sections, all parsed out, ready to, you know, and it's gonna happen. Like maybe I'll have to do that in the spring of 2021. You know, it'll be the whatever, like it'll be some Flashback Friday shit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Or hopefully we'll get the next DCG Con, and I'll throw that out there right before it, if anyone wants to get hype. Anyway, I do have a lot of big plans for videos next year in terms of Zibbit. Not going to talk about that right now. But yeah, big fucking plans. Big things.
Hell yeah. But
Yeah, that's
So-
neither here nor there. I got to digress. We're talking about the Tempest, and
So
I'm ready to play this spasmatic commercial whenever you're ready.
real quick, I just noticed something interesting. It literally came with 3 covers. I don't know if you noticed that whenever you went through yours, but you got your little insert, which is the actual cover.
Yep.
On the back, it's got some credits. Then you got the big poster fold out Tempest roller coaster, which on the back has all the album credits. And then there was another thing in here, another little booklet that previews Eye of the Storm, Slam TV,
Slam TV. Now that shit was fresh.
W Fuck Off Radio.
Now that shit was fresh. Now that shit was fresh.
Like, this is such a fucking dope era. Like, this was the rebranding of Psychopathic, like, right here. You know, we got a fucking radio station. We got the news. We got the wrestling channel. The new fucking EP that's getting ready to drop. Like, come on now. Tell me this is not a page stolen from, like, fucking Master P No Limit Records. Like, they were so they were so on top of their shit. But with Billy Bill coming in, you know, they just recently talked about this. Whenever Billy Bill came in, they realized they had a lot more money to fuck with than they were led to believe all these years.
Mhm.
So they were able to do a lot more, and they definitely took advantage and did that.
Well,
So
I mean, just think about that. They, as very young kids, or, you know, as young adults, old kids, whatever you want to call it, like inexperienced, green, you know, wet behind the ears, like, hey, we want to rap. We need a manager. They even said so in their live stream in October. They're like, we didn't even know what a manager did. You know, they were naive. But they got someone who would fight for them and would, you know, have their back and whatever, like hold their money for them. And
you can't take, like, other than the fact that he stole a bunch of money, aside from that, you can't take anything away from what he did for ICP, because he did a lot for him.
All we know is what we heard, and we heard a few different accounts, and it's pretty much a lock story that hasn't changed over the past decade, at least as far as I've heard.
Which we just looked back on that and confirmed. It confirms, like, what they were saying, you know, literally.
Right. Like I said, like what they said at the seminar last week on episode 2 of the Juggalo AD cast or whatever, you know, they you know, Alex and his departure was a personal decision, but he did kind of just bounce. And, you know, and so recently they said that when he left and they looked at the money coming in, they had enough to do all these things. So they just knew, because of record sales in the past and what they actually had been doing, which was maybe nothing compared to what they were capable of doing. They just knew that he had to have not just fucking run off, but he took the money and he ran off. Like,
it's like, there's a reason he went ghost.
right. But I sympathize with that plight. You know, if gunshots came through my window and my family was there and right. I wanted to move, and I was already going to be retiring from that role in like 2 more years, 3 more, that's nothing. You know what I mean? To just walk away. I'm just saying, like, I get that. You know what I mean? Like,
So one of the things they did with this money, though, was spasmatic. That was one of their investments. And like, think about the times. Like, you know, energy drinks were big at this time, and ICP was among the first to start making their own. Like, I don't know if you remember, but Hot Topic and Spencer Gifts, this is the era when they were getting all these weird fucking energy drinks coming in. And ICP's Spasmatic was one of the first.
So I wasn't really huge. You're drinking a fucking energy drink right now. I was just about to say, I really wasn't that big into energy drinks. Like, and trust me, I drank them. I drank them quite a bit. But but I preferred like coffees or, you know, so I preferred other things and sodas and whatnot. And I also, my favorite that got discontinued a long time ago, my favorite energy drink was, it was orange. The fuck was it called? Oh, I just had it on the tip of my tongue too.
Orange?
I think it was called Adrenalize. Adrenalize. Have you ever heard of Adrenalize?
Yeah. That sounds familiar.
It was like, all right, I'll get back to you on that. But hey, check this out. I picked this up at the gathering last year.
Yeah. I envy you for that one because that's one that I've wanted to try.
Now, this is unopened. If you want, I'll mail it to you. Dude, I have this in my fridge. This is in my fridge like a fucking thing of mustard that never gets touched. It's been in there for a year and a half.
That's funny shit. That is funny shit.
I'm the type of motherfucker that'll wait 17 years and then drink it live.
Hey, it's okay. I just gave Shade a fucking Whoop Dub that I've had, you know, since they came out. And it's literally been sitting in my fridge for what, like 6-7 months.
Well, I mean, that's fine. It's cold. It's in your fridge. I mean, these things, it's whatever. I want to drink Whoop Dub. I have not had Whoop Dubs yet. I mean, I haven't even had any of the drinks that Twisted put out, and I would if I had access to them, but I haven't been attending Twisted shows, so I probably am missing my opportunities there.
I completely forgot that they put out any type of drink until you just said something.
Well, they did it way later, but they did do it. They did do it.
I forgot completely. Remember, actually, no, I almost went into some wicked shit. Well,
look, talking like you were saying about like, oh, we didn't have the money to do this and that. Like, I remember Twisted being asked at like Twisted seminars in the 2001 or 2002 gathering, like it was almost like they were getting asked this all the time. When are you going to have Twisted rolling papers? You know what I'm saying? Like, so that shit definitely happened. I've been smoking Twisted Wicked Wraps for years. You know what I mean? Because when they finally put them out, I fucking was all over them. But yeah, those were like in high demand, you know, for years.
The other thing that
Callie, back in 2001, it wasn't feasible. Like, Alex wasn't having it. But I think it was the same situation, right? There was no money for anything. Not Twisted Wraps, not fucking this, that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, unless there was an investment coming in somewhere else, they had, like, for their movie, Big Money Hustlers. That was backed. That wasn't just Psychopathic Records. Whereas,
I care what the producers of this film say. Put the number on the bottom of the screen. So do you want to watch the commercial real quick? The Spasmatic commercial.
Yeah, and Kyle Driver like says Adrenalize is all over where he's at. So yeah, it's a thing. Adrenalize.
I think it was Sobe. I think it might have been Sobe Adrenalize, and it was orange, and I think it was like a dragon on the fucking can. It was black.
That's Sobe then.
Dude, those were my favorite energy drinks.
Oh.
Those got discontinued like a long time ago.
Yeah.
The all-new fucking freaky fucking energy drink from the insane posse. Get up, get one, and get lit with Spasmatic. Available at Hot Topic and Hatchet Gear.
I think that we should just get that beat on loop, you know, and just have that play in the background during all our live streams.
Keep it hype in here.
I don't know, like the last 4 or 5 seconds of that commercial, I could just take that, put it on a loop, and boom. We'll have dance parties in future episodes.
But so check it. So we had Spasmatic.
Kyle says adrenaline is all over there. They stopped selling it in Massachusetts. That's all I'm saying.
Boondock put out Pumpkinhead. You want to watch that little commercial?
All right, hold on.
writing.
Oh shit. Yeah, they got little commercials here. All right. YouTube's taking a slice of the cheese.
Right? Oh man.
So I would say that looking back, that was kind of cool and creepy and different. But now that just looked like a Trump rally to me. I mean, it's weird how the times change. But back then, I think that was on some like Children of the Corn type shit. Like, ooh.
No, it was on some Pumpkinhead shit.
I know. I'm just fucking kidding. Don't nobody's panties need to get in the bunch. God damn it. I'm just trolling. But yeah, dude. I'm all about Boondocks. But like that, you know, that was a nice little teaser trailer, I guess. You know.
Like I said, this was the new label. Like it was the same label, but the new roster. Boondocks is the one that they were pushing hard. He was the last album to come out before the Tempest, the first EP or release period to come out after the Tempest. They're really pushing for Boondocks. But on the other end of the spectrum, we also had Twisted and Blaze, who were the OGs of the label, the ones that stayed whenever half the crew left. And they also had albums this year. They had Twisted had Independence Day, which was a dope fucking album. It had some dope fucking features. We had DJ Quick and the Dog Pound on Hurt Somebody or Someone. You had the Dayton Family with Sex, Drugs, Money, and Murder, and this is before they joined the roster.
Sorry.
You had How I Live with Proof. ROC was on here. DJ Clay, Bizarre of D12, Head PE. I mean, Tech 9, Chris Calico, Potluck. Like, this album was fucking stacked with features.
What I remember about this era was, you know, this specific time right here was when I was living in Framingham, and I had kind of, you know, just started kicking it with juggalos that were local in my area that I partied with at the Tempest tour. Because the Tempest, so we haven't even talked about the tours yet, but yes, this time, like, you know, look, the Independence tour or whatever show Twisted did, like in promotion or during this time, I remember painting up like them during this era, you know, with
Toxic Terror, right?
Yeah, Toxic Terror tour. Awesome. Because there was the Toxic Terror EP, you know. And,
dope. And, like, oh man.
I think it struck me that, yeah, they're working with all these names. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of the names on Independence Day really went over my head. Like I wasn't really privy to like the Dayton Family, or, you know, it's like, oh, the Dog Pound, that's a blast from the past. Like, you know, Snoop Dogg's Boys. Like I obviously listened to Doggy Style back in the day, so I know who the Dog Pound were. And I even remember when the Dog Pound put out their music, but I wasn't really listening to them like that. But yeah, look, the Tempest tour for me, and the Tempest tour was a double back-to-back show, like 2 nights at the same venue in Worcester, Mass. It was never done before, never done since. But wow. It made it like a mini gathering in that fucking city where ninjas were up in hotels for the whole weekend, 2 shows back to back. They had X-Clan opening up. And those dudes were in the same hotel, so they were partying with us. It was fucking crazy. Those guys are on like Wu-Tang albums in the 90s, yo.
Right. Like that's some dope shit there. Like fucking 07 was a changing point for me, because that was the year I moved out on my own. I was homeless actually the first, like, early mid, I would say. 07 I was homeless, and then I got married in August, had a kid in December, moved from Los Angeles to Indiana. Like, '07 was fucking nuts for me.
What I remember is that, with my newfound friends, and of course, when you befriend another Juggalo, there's a lot to connect with, right? And there's a history that, like, you may not have known each other, but it's like, oh, you've been to that show and this show because we both, are in the region where we would go to the same venue, and so you become fast friends with people that you discover, like, hey, we've been to a dozen of the same shows before and didn't know each other until now. And now we're fast friends. And I'm just saying that this era was the beginning of a lot of fast friendships for me, because I already had, I guess from 97 to, I already had a decade of fucking ICP shows under my belt. So I had a lot to fucking relate with other ninjas that I meet at shows. But why am I just meeting them now? Well, it's because I was really not like that outgoing, and I really kept to myself for all those early years, right? I would show up, and a lot of times I'd be painted up like a clown and fucking incognito. And plus, like, I had not yet made music. So I'm just saying, in '07,
yeah,
I had
this time I was still, '07 is the year I turned 20. So I was still a kid. And all the shows I went to, I was going with my fucking mom. So
you were old enough to have Lawrence Fishburne drag you up in a helicopter and and grab a machine gun and kill people for the country. Today's Veterans Day, for crying out loud. You were old enough to be a veteran. Hey, if you were 20, I'm just saying.
No, now, yeah. But yeah, like up until that point, my point being is, up until that point, I'd never gone to shows with other Juggalos or like really interacted with the crowd that much, because I'd always gone, like, my mom was always had to drive me.
So what do you say, that '07 was different that way? Yeah,
this era is when I went to my first gathering. It was '09. So, but still, this was around the time that
oh my God, we've talked about this so many times. Yes, yeah. The '07 gathering. I didn't even think about that when we prepared everything for this episode. But yeah, that was my return to the gatherings as well. That was the first Cave and Rock gathering. And that
'07 wasn't my return, but '09 is whenever I started going to shows again. And because, I had to stop and do the daddy thing, and took a couple years to get my shit together. But as soon as I did, the gathering was one of the first shows I went to. So
anyway, man, this tangent has been brought to you by Twisted's Independence Day, and I'm really good. My memory is locked on that, man. Okay. But I seriously have to emphasize that these Juggalo times and these eras that mean so much to us, like it's funny how a lot of it is very much because of the music, and you're holding up the album. We're talking about this music, but there's another element to it where it actually does kind of sometimes become about the relationships you make, in out there with the other Juggalos, and I always kind of used to feel like, hey, if you aren't even down with this music, then you really have no business like being a Juggalo. But
right.
By this time, there were a lot of ninjas that, like, through Hot Topic, right? They were getting exposure. And so what were OG Juggalos feeling like? I think that was the source for a lot of hate. There was a lot of internal hate. This was a weird hate because ICP used to be hated on by the outside, people that were looking at from the outside looking in and hating. And their hate was ridiculous because it was uninformed and it was completely like just, but now you have haters that have, like, actual Juggalos that are hating on the new scene and these new ninjas, right? No new ninjas. You ever hear that fucking chant? You ever see that online?
That's funny shit. Well, if you recall, that's where we left off with our last episode, was the Twisted seminar, and they were talking about that same fucking thing right there.
You know what? You're absolutely right, because it wasn't the OGs that had been around for years. It's all these new ninjas showing up and doing fuck shit stuff. Like, yeah, but there was also these I don't know, these party monsters, these okay, fam kids, right? That's what they eventually we all agreed upon fan kids. CPN coined the term, it caught on, but there were a million different ways to describe these obnoxious new juggalos. Like I mean, I'm just saying there were a lot of name calling back then.
Right. So check it. We actually have a little commercial for this as well. So why don't we go ahead and dive into that?
Independence Day, the brand new studio album from Twisted. Special guest appearances by The Dog Pound, DJ Quick, The Dayton Family, NPE, The ROC, Insane Clown Posse, Glacier Dead Homie, Proof and Bizarre G12, Papa, Chris Calico, and Tech 9. Independence Day, the album, available now on Hatchet Gear and record stores nationwide. More info at www.twisted.com.
I take that back. I probably knew who most of those motherfuckers were. I just didn't know who Dayton Family was.
So one thing that I think is a nice little talking point. Prior to this coming out, remember, there was a big beef on the Eminem camp, and we've got 2 members of D12 on this album.
Yeah, I guess that was pretty monumental. That was something. That was something that it was like, like, all right, on several occasions, ICP have dissed, certain motherfuckers like Stuart Frankie. They talked about it on their seminar or wherever they talked about it. They're like, yeah, that motherfucker gave us like a bad review and we dissed him a bunch of times. Stuart Frankie, bitch ass hoe, or there was Champtown. Champtown got a diss like on Carnival of Carnage, right in the gutter, right next to Champtown's mother, like, and obviously Champtown is like, that's squashed old beef that he was the announcer in the ring for JCW Red Moon Howling last month. And he got dissed on Carnival of Carnage, yo. Like,
that's crazy.
Don Chaos wants to join.
What up?
So,
Chaos?
Chilling.
Yo, Chaos. I know you got a dope ass fucking live stream. What, tomorrow?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, the Hours of Chaos, and you're gonna have special guest Tom Wood up in that piece.
Yes, sir.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to plug that for you since you joined the room.
So where are we at in the Tempest era?
Well, we're talking about the Independence Day aspect of that year right now. So Twisted at the moment. We just watched the commercial. Dude, do you remember how that Eminem beef and D12 and all those motherfuckers, and then all of a sudden Twisted had a track with Proof?
Yep. That year, I was actually a sophomore year in high school. And what made the Tempest monumental to me is I was finally able to go to my very first show at 16 after being down since 97, 98, 99.
Yeah. So you're saying that you weren't able to attend the show for like the first decade, but you've been listening to the music and then you finally got to attend the show in 07. That's fucking dope.
And what better yet, I went to the actual Tempest release. That was my first event. And then the next month was the actual tour.
Right. And when I say they were double back-to-back shows, that was the Tempest tour. But we also got a Tempest release party. So there were 3 fucking huge shows in a very short period of time that year. And it was ICP and Twisted, was it not?
Yes, and then it was the legendary X-Clan opening up.
Yeah. So it was ICP and Twisted. They're on my fucking shirt. Here's the fucking tour shirt. I'm wearing it. This is not the bootleg. But remember I told you I bought a bootleg shirt? So I actually have the bootleg shirt. This shit right here is bootleg Fred all day. But it kind of looks dope.
That is fucking fresh, though.
You know,
And then I believe the Tempest release, it had Boondocks performing, Wolfpack, Dead by Wednesday, and then Shaggy was DJing for Boondocks.
oh shit, you're right, man. That is a really good point. That is something that my best friend reminded me, because that stood out in his mind, how that's what sold Boondocks to him. Because when Boondocks performed, Shaggy was on the ones and twos, and that fucking sold my friend on him. Like, that's awesome. Like, he's being wowed by Shaggy up there, but it's like, who's this guy rapping with Shaggy? And it's like, this is Boondocks. He's new. Like, boom.
Of course, that was the one of many times that I got to see the legendary, you know, which wrestler passed away? How did I forget his name? It's slipping my mind right now.
Rock? You mean the Legion of Doom?
Tracy Smothers. There we go.
Oh, Tracy Smothers. Right. Right. So you're saying that there were JCW matches on that tour? I believe that's what I remember.
JCW.
Yep, and ICP and both Jay and Shaggy were being as Guido and 3D, but they were like being the ring announcers during the match.
Oh my God. I just remembered something. This is so dope, because all these trips I made to Florida for shows, you know, the Bizarre Bazaar tour, the Tombstone Terror tour, a number of ICP shows, my fucking homies from Florida came up to go to the Tempest release party. So we had a mob of like fucking 15 people, and we all were wearing green four-leaf clover leis around our necks, because it was actually on St. Patrick's Day. That's what the Tempest release party fell on in Massachusetts. It was on St. Patrick's Day. That was really fresh, man. Like, I don't know. There's just something about like going to a clown show with a fucking large group of down ass homies. For me, that was different, and I can't stress it enough. You know, I've been down for a decade, but I would show up with like a few of my college friends, or I would show up like by myself. I would show up to a clown show by myself and then leave. and it's so funny, because there's so many faces I recognize all these years later. There are still a few that, like, I'm not the only one that's, you know what I mean? There's like a small knit group of people that have been going to shows all this time. And 07 was like a fucking, look, man, good fucking time. I know you're saying a lot of people left the label, all this turmoil, but come on.
Oh no, it was a different time, but you know, it was the end of an era and the beginning of a new.
But there was,
this era was actually good. Almost everyone on the label dropped something that year.
I mean, like I said, like he was saying, like they were doing all the JCW shit. Like they were really pushing JCW in 07. They had Slam TV.
Jinx.
Here you go. I don't have a Coke, but here's a Fago.
Also, R.I.P. Trent Acid, the most hated JCW wrestler, but you have to love him.
Yep, I got his autograph. I think it was either 07 or 08, and it just happened to, I think it was, I don't know, for some reason I was at, here's another segue, I was at the Quest for Shangri-La tournament, because that's another thing that dropped at this time, motherfuckers.
Yep.
I got it right here to show off. All right. But yeah, I got Trent Acid's autograph because he was just there, because the tournament was up on the JCW ring. I think he might have been there, like, because he was going to wrestle after we cleared the tables off.
Another good wrestler that passed away too young. I actually watched a documentary on him, and that was on Netflix years ago.
Really? There's a documentary about him, or is he just in the documentary?
Well, he's featured in it, but it talks about like indie wrestling. It's cool.
Okay.
So, real quick, Quest for Shangri-La. Tell us a little bit about that, TJ. What is that?
Do you want me to play the commercial too, or?
Yeah, let's play the commercial. I'll be honest, I've never actually played Quest for Shangri-La. I wish they would have done
it. No shit.
Hope you don't find this.
Oh my goodness.
They need to remake it, just saying.
Well, I have ideas about that. Okay.
Well, check. We're about ready to, they just did the Peep Show, right? We're getting ready to have another one in December, we just heard. Maybe they'll play Quest for Shangri-La. Let's see. Like last time we did.
I remember hearing Jump Steady say in the House Party Peep Show that they have 3 new games coming out. So, if one of those 3 games is any type of variation or expansion or re-release of Quest for Shangri-La, I will be over the moon because
We still need to finish our game.
yeah, we have an unfinished game going.
And last time I remember, Shanzi was beating all of us with Blaze.
Yeah, I think we'll call that game fucking null and void. Yo, what up, fucking Matt? Cyrax in this piece.
What up?
So, yo, we'll play the commercial first, and then I'll tell you my hot take on it, all right?
All right.
Psychopathic Records presents The Quest for Shangri-La, the board game. Will you survive? Developed by Jumpsteady and the rest of the gang at Morton's List, featuring characters from the dark Carnival mythology. Players battle their way to reach the glorious gates of Shangri-La. The quest features deadly traps, multiple endings, full-color playing cards, and hours of fun, suitable for all juggalos. The Quest for Shangri-La, the board game. Will you survive? Available at hedgegear.com and Hot Topic stores near you.
That's funny. Available at Hot Topic stores. I don't think. I think they sold out quickly. I think they were hard to find eventually.
Or we had. I remember my store. We got like 2 of them, and they were gone immediately. And there's not even a lot of SoCal Juggalos.
I'm going to be honest with you. My shit for brains memory. I don't remember where I got mine, but I know that by the time I went to the show and saw they were selling them, and I saw Ninja, like, oh, look, they got it. I was like, I already got mine. Like, because I got it quick. I think I got it at the fucking gathering. That's it. I got it at the gathering. And then when I saw it, yeah, that must have been it. I don't know. Maybe. All I know is, all right, you want to know about the game? Let me just show you real quick. Can I make my screen full for a second?
Do it.
Yeah, because everyone wants to see this. All right. If you haven't, look how big the board is.
Jesus.
All right.
I've seen it on eBay, but people are asking for it ridiculously on eBay.
That
Green. This board game right here, this is what it looks like to play it. It's fucking huge.
that is literally like 2 Monopoly boards or 4.
Oh yeah, dude, this thing is huge. I mean,
That's like 4 Monopoly boards.
here's my fucking head in front of it. Like,
Basically, it's the Juggalo version of Dungeons and Dragons, almost.
all right, well, I don't know about that, Cat. Seriously, like, all I know is that this board game right here is so easy to play, and it is so Juggalo-centric that
Okay, it's easy to play. Thank you. I'm sold. That was always one of my concerns because I saw that fucking board.
no. I personally have taught many people how to play that game because this game, it's fun with many players, so it's not uncommon to have, like, 2 or 3 or 4 juggalos and then a few normies, and they have fun too. It's fun for everyone. They may not understand all of the cards and the characters and the references and when you read the cards and stuff. So that's what I'm saying. If you're a juggalo, there's a lot of payoff in every fucking facet of this game. Did you notice how? Well, I'm not going to hold it up the whole time I talk, and I'm going to go back so we can see each other. Yeah, here we go. This is good. So there's an outer ring. And then there's an inner ring, and then there's another inner ring, and then there's the center. Okay, that's how it's set up. You all start on the outer side, and you have to cross the barrier to get in and in and in, and you're trying to get to the center. The first person to the center, to Shangri-La, is the winner.
Gotcha.
Simple as that. Each ring or each level has its own deck. So when you move to a square, it says draw an action card. So you pull a card and you start off in Detroit, and of course you have a card that has strength and like fighting power. And so if you draw a card and it's like a villain or someone to fight, you roll dice, and you roll dice to win. So if you pull a card and your enemy, it could be like a bunch of groupies that want to fucking fuck you and steal your money. And so they got a strength of 7. You got to roll dice. If you get more than a 7, then you get to fuck them and steal their money or something. Like the cards tell you that wacky shit. So you know what I mean? It's like you're playing the game, but then you're like, oh my God, this is fucking ridiculous. Like, and so, so you get your strength up, you get your points up, you cross the level, you go from Detroit into the Nether Void. Okay. And in the Nether Void, you're pulling from a different deck of cards. In that second deck, the stakes are higher. The enemies are stronger. You know what I mean? Like, and then when you go to the third level, that's the Dark Carnival. And again, like everything is elevated. And so you want to go around and you could move forward and then get the bone and go all the way back to the beginning in Detroit and have to, make your way back up. And so it's like chutes and ladders like that, like anything can happen. You think you're going to win. You could be playing for 2 hours and then all of a sudden things could change. And
Nice.
It's fucking awesome. I mean, really, like there's so much more I could say. I'll stop there because it's a really involved game. But as long as you have one person who knows how to play, who just knows, and you go around the table, your turn, your turn, your turn. So it's like you roll dice, you pull a card, you read the card, you laugh at the card, you do what it says, next person's turn. It's fucking simple.
Didn't you do a live stream years ago, you playing it? I don't remember.
Yeah, it was, you remember when they made Juggalo Day a holiday? Like officially? Yeah. It was like the very next year to celebrate Juggalo Day, I had ninjas over my crib and we played Quest for Shangri-La and I set up cameras and like 2 different angles. And then I basically spliced it together and I put music to it and you can find it on Carnival Spirits. Like I posted that shit.
Hell yeah.
So anyway, that's what that is.
So we got that. We also had Blaze dropping Clockwork Ray, which was, oh my God, this is definitely one of the greatest Blaze albums of all time. Like, so fucking dope.
Let's watch that trailer right now.
We got the trailer. Let's watch it.
The highly anticipated new album from Blaze, your dead homie, is finally here. I'm the Fred Keeper. Clockwork Gray, featuring the ROC, Violent J, Jamie Madrox, Monoxide, Boondocks, Big B and Cut Calhoun, Sam Hain Witch Killers. Available now at hatchetgear.com and record stores worldwide. Featuring 14 fresh-ass new cuts from everybody's favorite dead homie. Get your motherfucking copy today.
Are we all going to pretend that wasn't like Shaggy 2 Dope with the levels like lowered or some shit?
We also going to pretend like Twisted and Blaze isn't Sam Hain Witch Killers.
Yo, you actually are correct, man. Clockwork Gray is one of Blaze You Dead Homie's best fucking efforts, like of all time. In my opinion, I think it is his best album. I love it. I love it.
And this era, this was good for me because not only in 2007 I got to see ICP Twisted and Boondocks that year, but that year Twisted was supposed to do a Halloween show in Denver, and then that got canceled. But guess who came and did a show for us Halloween night in Denver instead? Yep, Blaze.
Like I said, I went to that Tombstone Terror tour. I mean, I fucking flew from Boston all the way to Florida just to see Blaze. Not really. I went for the fucking party. I went for the Juggalo party. I knew it was going to be a good time, and it really.
I remember it just like it was yesterday. It was like the Blaze Halloween show. Got out of school, went with my homie, and we went. And then, of course, it was Halloween night, so we wished the ROC happy birthday after the show.
Nice. What was the video that they had for? Wasn't it the one with the ROC?
Yeah.
Ill Connect. Is that the video they put out for that?
Yep.
Dope
Very
song.
dope video.
Dope video, dope song. Love the ROC. And it was really cool hearing him in the mix, you know. Just saying, really
Yeah,
cool.
ROC's always been underrated, in my opinion.
Well, but you know, like him and Twisted, right? The old House of Crazies trio were separated, you know. And so when Twisted went off and started when you know what I mean, when Twisted began, ROC went solo. That's what happens, and then they start fucking with each other right here in this era.
House of Crazies went on with new members because of you know, situations being as they were. But yeah, pretty much ROC went out and did his own thing, and this was bringing him back into the fold. So that was fresh.
Blaze kind of established, because what it's fucking I'm sorry, I'm a little slow to name the songs, but I believe it's Escape Artist, right?
Freaking
I try to stop the sunshine and feel the rain, whatever the
That's
fuck.
always a Blaze closer now, officially.
Yeah, you know, and that came out on that album, and it's like instant fucking like concert closing fucking anthem, you know, and it's also fucking taken from Guns N' Roses.
Yep.
Use Your Illusion 2, 14 years. I'm just saying, it's dope. Like, I love that shit. That is the shit.
You also got fucking one of the greatest like Juggalo anthem songs of all time, Zip Code's Time Zones.
Oh, dude, and he shouts out Worcester in that song.
And he even shouts out Colorado, Violent J.
Yeah.
Versus.
You know, and that's something that they did at the end of Bizarre Bazaar when Jay and Rudy are like, right here. I've been to Worcester, Massachusetts. You know, it's always cool to like hear, I don't know, your area shouted out on a Juggalo album, and it hasn't happened many times, but it happened on this album.
That was one of the albums where we got a collab from the big three labels at that time: Blaze, Psychopathic, Big B, Sub Noise, and then Cut Calhoun's Strange Music.
Yeah, that's true. This is the era of the big three, and for those who don't know what we're talking about, the big three is the big three major underground labels in the Juggalo world. You had Psychopathic Records, Suburban Noise, and Strange Music. These were the three most recognizable labels in the underground at that time.
And they were collaborating a lot. They were doing tours together.
Such a dope time. It's fucking dope ass time to be a Juggalo.
It's coming.
We
right?
seem to say that a lot, though. That, in other words, it's rare to join the Juggalo train and at a bad time.
Bad time.
There's plenty of bad times, but it's like you could throw a dart at the timeline, and chances are it's going to be pretty fucking fresh where it lands, no matter where it lands.
Yeah, right. That's funny shit. Also, during this era, we got Psychopathics from Outer Space 3.
Oh shit! You read my mind, because that is that's what popped up here in front of me. So I'll play it.
At you, an unknown horror from the depths of outer space. Can Earth survive? Psychopathics from outer space. Much more than a compilation, Psychopathics from Outer Space 3 features all new exclusive material, including ICP, Twisted, Blaze, and the ROC, Boondocks, Motown Rage, and DJ Clay. Buy it November 20th at Hatchigear and worldwide before it's too late.
That fucking Dark Lotus track, Farther Away, dope.
Yo, so check it. They shouted out Motown Rage.
Yep.
This is the first time we heard Motown Rage. They weren't even announced as like an artist for Psychopathic at this point that I know of. They were, this is pre Hatchet House. This is, you apparently have Motown Rage. A&B just left. Mikey Clark came back. Remember, he was also Hatchet House. DJ Clay's just brought into the fold. So you have all the elements there, but it wasn't quite a thing yet.
Hey, I just want to say, I think my understanding of the whole Hatchet House evolution has something to do with, feedback on how they did it right previously. Like, they had a fucking contest. They had these ninjas, Axe Murder Boys, win said contest, right? And then they also discovered and kind of cherry picked this other talent that entered the contest, and they molded a fucking persona for him. So now, they put out Axe Murder Boys on their one album contract, per contest winning thing, and they put out Boondocks. You know what I mean? But it's like these are juggalos winning the golden ticket. Like, it's like they're juggalos their whole life, and they rap, and all of a sudden they won the fucking contest. They got the album, and it's like, good for them. But Boondocks, he was. I'm just saying, man. I feel like there might have been a kickback to these other rappers getting their shot when other ones weren't. And so how angry motherfuckers can get when they're not getting their shine. And that there were other motherfuckers that were a little envious or feeling a certain way about, like, hey, I know 10 other motherfuckers that deserve it more than this guy, that type of thing. So they get shade. They get mad fucking hate. And
how did they open up the fucking label? They opened it up with what? Tunnel Runners, an album showcasing the underground.
But that's what I'm saying. I think they chose to do that, and then when it comes to signing motherfuckers, you create a whole fucking sub-label just for that. That way, no one can get all butthurt that someone got on Psychopathic when someone didn't. It's like, no. Now y'all get a fucking junior roster fucking, side label that we're going to endorse, and that's going to be your fucking step in the right direction to whatever it is that you fucking are coveting.
Yeah. And let's be honest here, like, aside from DJ Clay, no one really put out more than an album and an EP.
Now,
label.
I think that
also ROC, he's also one of the first people to drop something on Hatchet House. But Hatchet House, that's 2008. We're in 2007.
Are you kidding me? We can't even lump that in?
Fuck no. No, I'm kidding.
Well, whatever. I mean, if you want to go on and on about Hatchet House next week on our next episode, that's fine with me. We can continue talking about Psychopathics from Outer Space Part 3.
Check out that fresh ass artwork.
Some Star Trek type shit.
What's the ICP song at the end? I love it.
Let's see. ICP song at the end. The last ICP song on here is "If I Was God."
I just don't remember what's the last song at the end. Is it the Hatchet Man Cipher?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's the one I'm thinking of, man.
Which is a posse cut and another Juggalo anthem.
That's what I'm saying. That right there, that's stir crazy, right? Fucking dope.
Yeah.
That song I wish would have been a video.
You also got DJ Clay on here rapping as well. Zodiac Imprint. Like, come on.
Come on.
I mean, you even have that good Jamie Madrox and Blaze song, "Put It Down."
I like the Twisted songs on this record. Don't they have a song called "Zombie" on here? That's fucking fire.
Yep, they have the more than one version of "My Addiction," which is one of my favorite Twisted songs.
My Addiction, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, see, but this album's just full of everything. It's fresh. It's got Motown Rage. Hey, I don't know if you want to talk about Motown Rage, but I'll tell you what I think of them is I think they're fucking awesome. And when I heard the album, I heard influences of Iron Maiden in their shit, and I was like, yes, You guys are fucking cool. I like it. I like it a lot.
All right. So when you look at this cover, right, and you get into it, you'll see, of course, you got your Slam TV. Like I said, we were pushing that hard this year. You got the Clockwork Gray. Once again, Independence Day. Fuck Off Radio.
Radio with balls.
Quest for Shangri-La. Psychopathic the videos.
Yeah.
In stores now. This was ridiculous. Like that is Psychopathics the videos is what opened me to Act Murder Boys personally. Like I wasn't exposed to them until that point. But anyways, you got the Juggernauts. Gathering of the Juggalos 08.
Hell yeah.
And the announcement of Boondocks' Crimson Creek and the new fucking Dark Lotus.
Yeah.
And this is that was the first Dark Lotus album without the sixth pedal as well. So definitely there's a lot going on at this time period. Their marketing game is fucking off the wall. You know, the only other release we had other than I Have the Storm, but we'll get into that last, was, which I don't have it here with me, but Psychopathic Riders, Duck the Fuck Down.
Mm-hmm. I got that.
And I think what a lot of people don't know is ICP was actually on like VH1 for like a quick second, like during this time. Like there was this like contest reality show that only lasted for one season. It was called the Next White Rapper Show, and they were like on there. And they like gave the people that were in this competition like a tour of Psychopathic and stuff.
My homie Forever Man was on that show.
Sucks that show never went anywhere. I thought it was a good show.
Yo, there really was a lot going on. I got the commercial for Duck the Fuck Down. You want to watch that?
Yeah, let's watch that shit.
And I know there is a clip of that episode from the White Rapper Show somewhere on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Little bitch, duck the fuck down. The latest release for the most ruthless motherfuckers on this planet. Psychopathic Riders. Duck the fuck down. And they're available at HatchetGear.com. Motherfucker.
I'm gonna throw this out there. I think that album right there was just a ploy to push Boondocks.
What?
No, I'm kidding. No, but once again, they're showcasing the new reformed roster, so it only makes sense for them to put out some sort of a collab album, and it just
Hey, look.
duck the fuck down.
That they didn't put anybody else on Lotus this time around, but they put Boondocks on Duck the Fuck Down, even though Riders has lost so many people, right? And even before Esham and ABK, they lost Misery. I mean, and I'm using their, street names or whatever they're.
What are you talking about? We don't know who those people are.
Converse,
Also, during this era, like Psychopathic, a lot of them got interviewed by G4. G4 used to have this online series called Freestyle 101.
Yeah.
They interviewed ICP. They did an interview with Twisted. They interviewed Blaze. They've done an interview with Tech, and then I think they've done one with Insane Poetry.
The Blaze one was a Zodiac imprint because they were building that up to be a thing at this point. Like it was on the Psychopathics Part 3. It was they had the fucking song on Clockwork Gray.
I was going to say that song with ROC on Clockwork Gray, Zodiac imprint.
Yeah, exactly. So they were building up Zodiac imprint to be something. I'm gonna guess on Psychopathic, but then they ended up putting ROC on Hatchet House as a solo artist.
Hey, I don't know, man. I mean, it's like, dude. I mean, so many things get planned and then change, and then something else happens. I mean, whatever.
If you want, you could even play those interviews that played on G4.
Yeah, but like, think about it, man. Like, some of these motherfuckers, like Blaze Your Dead Homie, was not the quickest producer of music. Like, before Light was a thing, there was Blaze Your Dead Homie. I'm just saying, he was a slow motherfucker that put out music, and
Right.
even like quit for a while.
Right.
He reverted back to being a stagehand for a while, and then he came back. Like, I'm just saying, like, it's not. So, so for Zodiac Imprint and the ROC, like, yeah, maybe their hands were tied. Maybe it was like something personal, because I know that the ROC is a private guy. He's one of the most down to earth motherfuckers, and I think he's divorced or something. So there was a period where down to earth motherfuckers, and I think he's divorced or something. So there was a period where your music gets interrupted by your life.
That was this era, because he was starting to come back into the fold. And
then his life went. I know that ROC, being very upfront and an open book kind of guy, but not. He doesn't floss like that. I know he was like DJing bar mitzvahs and stuff in between, joining Blaze on tours. Like, he's getting money where he can, he's trying to fucking survive like everybody else.
This is actually a funny point here. Everyone that has worked underneath Blaze has the hope of being that next guy on Psychopathic.
So Blaze Your Dead Homie was kind of like the end of the line. It never really happened. That's where that fucking tradition stopped. Like,
because
do we have those G4 interviews where they interviewed ICP, Twisted, and Blaze?
I mean, I don't have them queued up or anything, but if you wanted to find them and send them to my messenger, I'll throw them up maybe.
Yeah, because that's back when like G4 like had this cool online series called Freestyle 101. And it's just cool to see ICP, Twisted, Blaze like talk about the hip hop scene in Detroit. It's just cool.
If I remember correctly, I think Blaze spit some Dark Lotus lyrics.
No, it's Jay that does it.
Who did I say?
Yeah, I'll find them and I'll send them to you.
No, who did I say? I meant Jay.
Let's see.
But yeah, so in addition to all of these albums coming out, let's not forget that we got the Tempest, but that's not the only ICP release we got in 2007.
Oh, no?
Oh, no. We also got The Eye of the Storm. Fresh little EP. And if you remember, it was online exclusive for the longest time. Like, actually, that's still the only way you could get it. Eye of the Storm was only available on Hatchet Gear and The Gathering. That was the only way you could get it.
I don't even have a commercial for that.
I sent you one. The very end.
Oh, right on. That's right. We talked about that.
But once again, Slam TV being pushed heavy as fuck. But then also, oh shit, in 2007 we had a Hallowicked tour. That's fucking. And on that tour was Motown Rage and Necro.
I think the track for that year of Hallowicked was Blood Red Rum, which is a good song.
They did a video. Whatever, was that the one? Because they did an actual music video for that year's Hallowicked single. I think that was it.
Yep. I've always loved the chorus of that song. It's Halloween in the Murder City.
What the fuck? This video won't play. I don't know what's wrong. It never usually fucking does this.
Okay, TJ. So, anyways, so Don Chaos, you said that this was the year that you got to go to your first show. Like, tell us where that show was, and a little bit about your experience, like your first clown show.
Well, like I said, my very first event was like the Tempest release, and I had fun. I got to see Boondocks perform for the first time. I got to see Dead by Wednesday, which it's funny how I was just talking about them, and they recently put out a new video.
I know, man. Look, true story. We fucking partied with Dead by Wednesday because not only did they, do that tour, but then they came back to Worcester and they did shows with the underground scene, and we all went out to a fucking Chinese food restaurant and fucking had drinks and food with that band and fucking partied. And there's like a big group picture of all our homies, all these Juggalos and Dead by Wednesday, all fucking outside the Chinese food
A
restaurant.
lot of people that probably don't know, Dead by Wednesday was like a rap metal group, so they were almost like Limp Bizkit, but like a percentage of them were like African American, so they were always like on that fuck Bush trend, which was awesome because exactly fuck Bush.
Yo, Cali Green, I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know what the deal is, but I can't get any videos to play anymore. I don't know what the fuck is up with my connection. Like, I can't even. Let me try and get the seminar to work, because every video I try to open, it just gives me the pinwheel of death, and it's not. The fuck? Something's wrong with my with YouTube, or I don't know what's up.
Well, shit.
I think we're done, showing videos.
Well, we can pick up with videos next time. I mean, that's fucking like, look at how many commercials we just watched. This is all 2007.
Yeah, so we only missed one commercial. Just imagine it. It's for the Sideshow EP, Eye of the Storm. Like you said, you couldn't get it very many places. I got mine at the Gathering that year, and I remember listening to it over and over on the way back from the Gathering, that long drive. Really got to know that EP well and really appreciate it, because how can you not love songs like Yellow Bus, Scatterbrains, High Ride? I'm just saying,
Right.
Wind Me Up. I mean, these songs are fucking
Yep.
dope. This is a great EP, in my opinion.
The Madness, like, yeah, this EP is stacked.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah.
Like, honestly, I would say, like, out of the like, if you think about it, really, the Tempest is kind of like a trilogy, because you have the Calm, the Tempest, and the Eye of the Storm, right?
Pretty much.
I'd say out of all of that, like, front to back, I listened to Eye of the Storm more than anything else.
You know what you just reminded me of? Thy Ghetto Freak Show. If he's watching now, or if he watches later, Matt's brother, Cyrax, Ghetto Freak Show.
Of course I do.
He makes the dopest mixes of like Juggalo eras, and he'll he made like his version of Fearless Fred Fury includes like all the music that came out in the era. So like the Cyphers and the Brother EP and Gloomy Sunday, you know what I mean? Like the Hallowicked track of the year. Like, he makes a mix of, so I'm just saying, like, I would love to hear Thy Ghetto Freak Show's mix of the Tempest trilogy, where it's like the Calm, the Tempest, the Eye of the Storm, and then whatever else, like things like the Hatchet Man song at the end of Psychopathics from Outer Space 3 is just fucking, that's that era, like.
You know what? This is actually, you got my mind fucking going over here. I was wanting to get our Spotify up and moving, since we got the mixtape in the works right now still.
Well, you know what it is the mixtape has been on hold for a long time, but when we pick it up, it's not going to be long before, like, we're going to drop it out of nowhere. It's going to be fresh.
Oh man,
I probably said that like a dozen times in the past.
we're still sitting on videos that I've edited for this.
Yeah, we put mad work into that.
We have an exclusive Bones Dub track and music video that has not been released in its entirety. So
we also have an exclusive Mastermind track, don't we?
Yeah, that's out there. That one is.
Yeah, I know that's out there. That's out there. We released that song.
That's stacked.
Yo, what's that called? Let me pull that up. Let me, if I can get a video to play.
Kill Move, Mastermind, Kill Move.
Yeah, Kill Move.
But I want to get our Spotify going. So I think these era playlists that you're talking about would be a dope fucking thing to do. Start making Spotify playlists for the eras underneath Carnival Spirits.
Hell yeah.
You know what also happened this era? The very first hatchet attacks at Red Rocks.
Yeah, shout out to Danny Boy. He said that in the chat like fucking 20 minutes ago. But yeah.
I was there. It was awesome.
Were you? That was a good time?
So now every time when I watch it, I still always try to look carefully to see if I can find myself.
Hey, not for nothing, but check this out. Yeah. I actually have the flyer for that right here.
But of course, it was at a different venue, as you can tell.
Yeah. Well, was the one that you're talking about the first one? Because this one says Denver, Colorado, man.
Yeah, but I think it said Denver Coliseum, but it never ended up being there.
You're right. It says Denver Coliseum in Denver, Colorado.
Yep, that didn't happen. Of course, it wouldn't be until 2008, but it would be at Red Rocks, the legendary Red Rocks.
All right, gotcha. So they changed the location.
Yes.
Right. Hell yeah, man. I feel like, look, I'm not going to say much about hatchet attacks, but I'll say this. With gatherings happening in the Midwest and tours constantly happening, in all of these Juggalo clown towns, we're getting a lot of love on the East Coast. Like I said in the Bizarre Bazaar documentary, by the time Bizarre Bazaar tour came around, my spoiled Juggalo ass was going to 3 fucking ICP shows a year for the past 3 years before Bizarre Bazaar came around. By the time the Tempest tour came around, I had already been just fucking up to here with the Juggalo culture. It really is a monster that has grown out of control at this point. Motherfuckers are set in their ways, but with shit like the Quest for Shangri-La and all these different fucking, all these vehicles for music, fucking Psychopathic Riders, the Psychopathics mixtape, the third one. I mean, all these different artists. It's fucking dope, man. I mean, think about it. We're all into this. We're all fucking super interested in it, but it's we don't have to be. There's a million fucking fish in the sea. There's a million bands to listen to and to be but this is not, I don't know. It's crazy. It's really something to be a part of and watch unfold. This is all your idea to do a video reminiscing strictly on these time periods. And for me, it's really fun to think back. And
what also came out in this era around 08?
Yeah. Who? What? Where?
Something else came out in 08 around this era, and I'm going to plug it in, your Juggalo Agenda release.
Well, I think Callie just wants to wait until next week until we talk about 08.
08, because 08 is stacked. With 08, we've got, we got Hatchet House and all the fucking releases they did. We've got, that's just a stacked year.
Yeah, but you know what, Chaos, since you brought up my music, you got to, anyone listening right now, watching right now, you guys got to go check out my new song. I haven't fucking spit a rap in 8 years, and I got a brand new fucking song out with Mastermind and my homie Maddie Cypher.
And it's fire.
Thank you, bro. Yo, it's called Ghost Breath. Ghost Breath.
Literally, my hair fell off when I listened to it. No lie.
it's fucking awesome, man. Like I recorded that shit like in the beginning of the year, like right before the pandemic. And because as soon as like I was gonna record so much, but my studio was set up in my parents' basement. And when the pandemic hit, I was social distancing from my parents because all of us were essential workers. And so we were all not fucking going near each other because any one of us could have caught COVID. I mean, look, we were just being cautious and safe. And, you know, my mom works in a school, my dad works in a hospital, and I work in a grocery store. And all of us are just exposed to people. Like,
looking back, I mean, the beginning of this year was rocky.
oh, yeah. So anyway, right before all that happened, my dude, Matty Cypher, hit me up, asked me if I wanted to be on his album. He had asked me to be on his album 3 years ago. And I dropped the ball and I wasn't able to record a verse in time, like, cause I was going to the gathering that year and I just, he needed the verse by a certain time. And with the gathering, I couldn't make it happen. I was bummed cause, I was looking forward to a return, you know? So anyways, I finally returned to music. And, if you guys want to hear that shit,
Yes.
It just look me up on fucking Spotify or do a search on YouTube for Ghost Breath. Beastmaster, BSTMSTR, Matty Cypher, Mastermind.
All I gotta say is when the gathering comes around and if we put an event together, we're gonna make sure you do a set and you drop your verse during that set. Just saying.
Well, hey, maybe Matty Cypher will be there. I mean, he's been to fucking tons of gatherings. He's performed at a few gatherings. Like that dude's an OG Juggalo. And
so there you go. You could get fucking Beastmaster in on Matty Cypher's set.
hell yeah, man. I'll fucking hype him. You know, not for nothing. This era that we're talking about, like next week, Chaos Ain't Lying. When I dropped Juggalo Agenda, it was part of a huge push for me as a beginning rapper. Like I didn't ever consider myself a rapper up until this point in, you know, the Tempest era. Like I made Dear Joe and Joey as a legitimate, like a sincere thank you from a Juggalo to ICP. And it was an open letter. And I just happened to do it as a fucking rap, you know? But that don't mean that I was like an MC. That don't mean that I fucking performed. Like I never did none of that, you know?
The reason I remember that, because on my MySpace back in the day when you could have music, I had both the song Proud to be a Juggalo and Dear Joe and Joey on there.
Nice, yeah. So yeah, I put Dear Joe and Joey on MySpace, and in 07, this era, I guess I submitted it to Fuck Off Radio. You know, Nathan Extra and Leah had a show. It was called Off the Clock, and they were taking submissions and from rappers. This was like before they had Sugar Slam doing it. Demo jams. Before demo jams, it was called Off the Clock. I sent them Dear Joe and Joey. They played it on Fuck Off Radio on the 4th of July in 2007. Like that night and the next day after I was partying 4th of July, I look on MySpace and I had 1 million messages on MySpace from Juggalos telling me that they heard Dear Joe and Joey on Fuck Off Radio.
That's back when everyone on the label had their like own show. I think Boondocks' show was called The Dirt or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Boondocks had a show. Yep. Shaggy had a show. King of the Hill, I think, or something like that. King of the Scrubs. Or
And then, let's see, Blaze had a show. I forget what it was called.
Well, Chaos. My point is that fucking song getting played on the radio, on Fuck Off Radio, like that earned me a performance at the gathering that year.
Don't you have a clip of when it was played on there or something?
Yeah, I got the recording. It's on Carnival Spirits. But like there was also a camera rolling when I performed at the gathering in 07 on the Baumhouse stage.
Yeah.
But that dude fucking tried acid for the first time in his life at that gathering, like later that day. he lost, or his camera bag was stolen while he was having a fucking trip. Like,
Damn.
he just lost all his shit. So the footage of me performing at the gathering, my first time ever, is like out there, and some ninja stole it and has it. And I pray and I hope, and I'm putting it out there in the universe. If you are that ninja who stole that fucking backpack and stole that camera, and you have that footage, just post it.
Yes, or send it to TJ so he can post
Just
it.
upload it to YouTube.
Right?
I want to see it so bad. Yeah, I was pissed though when I like basically like the next day he's like, "Oh, I'm so pissed. I fucking lost my camera." I'm like, "Your camera? You lost the footage of us." Like
It's probably in a pawn shop somewhere now.
Yeah.
Well, it probably doesn't exist anymore. Like the camera's gone.
Well, they probably recorded over it, like fucking Family Ties reruns or something, like or hockey games or something. Like,
Check it. TJ, are you able to pull up videos yet, or nah? Is that out of the question?
oh, man, that's dead. I've been trying like behind the scenes for a while, and something's wrong. I can't play a YouTube video right now, and that's very strange. That doesn't ever happen. So I don't know what the fuck is going on, but.
I remember when I would always watch Jay Show The Witching Hour.
Oh, yeah, I really enjoyed those. See, Fuck Off Radio was the shit.
Even ABK, when he was very first coming back to the label, he had his own show called The Warpath, I believe.
Well, I mean, that's what they did. They gave their roster a fucking platform for that media.
And of course, Twisted always had ashtrays and action figures. That show never changed its name.
Hey, Ashtrays and Action Figures had its origins on Fuck Off Radio.
Yep, a lot of people don't know that.
What do you mean? Everybody knows that. Anyone who acts like they don't know that is some fucking fam kid of the Twizzler fucking,
Hence why I
Was
said
it-
that.
Mars have his own show around this time as well.
Yep.
Ness.
I think we were talking about this last episode. Jay Reno had his own show. He had the Canadian Bacon Show.
Yeah,
Even Upchuck the Clown had his own show.
Wolfpack had their show.
So everyone basically had their show.
Everybody has a show.
Upchuck's show was more like a comedy.
I used to call in to Upchuck's show and talk shit to him.
Right? He would always get those calls of people just fucking with him.
just real quick, can't we all agree that Clownvis is so much better than Upchuck?
He is.
Dude, there's no comparison. What the fuck are you even doing?
Like, why? We did not need Upchuck. We never needed him. He was terrible. I'm
One,
sorry.
because Clownvis can sing, and two, Clownvis is actually funny with his stand-up comedy.
Just
Look, it seems like Callie really doesn't like Upchuck. I low-key like Upchuck. I love to fucking troll him and fuck with him, and because he clearly wasn't a juggalo, and I'm like, you're a hired gun. You're a comedian that's hired just because you're a gimmick of the clown. You're right. Clownvis is way better.
like Clownvis is upfront about who he is, how he came into the culture, everything. Whereas Upchuck, it was just like,
Yeah, bullshit.
whoop whoop. That's how I felt about Upchuck. Like whoop whoop. Like,
Yeah, but I liked his style of humor. It was very, like, I felt like that was his shtick,
I don't know. It is what it is. Was what it was. That was. I just wasn't a fan of Upchuck.
Well, it's not like he had a very important role. I mean,
Not really. He was just there to supposedly make the crowd laugh.
he's kind of there to be the crowd's like whipping post. I mean, because they know that the juggalos are gonna fucking heckle and fucking give a hard time to anyone they don't like. You throw Upchuck in front of us, and it's just asking for it. It's like basically giving us a human dunk tank, Like
That's exactly what that was. If we didn't like him, then he was doing his job.
Exactly.
yeah, no, it was his job to not be liked and still be like, well, here, I'm still doing my thing, or whatever the fuck how he does it,
Fucking Upchuck. Oh my god, what happened to that guy?
I mean, he was really a a pristine specimen of the human species. I'm sure he's, a bodybuilder or something.
You know what? 2007. This was also the year we were supposed to get Tally Demon.
Was it?
Yep.
Because she performed at the 07 gathering.
Yep.
So her album she was supposed to be actually on Hatchet House. She was one of those artists. So her album would have came out in 2008, but as we know, that never happened.
Yeah,
So,
she was going to be the first female artist.
she was going to be. Let me see if I got it right. Here's my understanding of the story from her side, because I remember reading her posts about it. I remember her saying that she had respect for everybody in the camp except for Billy Bill. She was like, super fuck Billy Bill. I just remember Billy Bill was the one that she fucking hated, and everyone else, she really specified that Billy Bill was the one. It was like, fuck you to Billy Bill. And other than that, I'm pretty sure it all boiled down to I was verbally promised one thing, and then when it came to signing the contract, it was something different. And I don't want to get into the deets because I don't know the deets, but that was the gist of it. And I think it had something to do with she was probably really adamant about working with her own producer. That's what I believe. She was like, yo, I work with this guy. His sound is like a computer games-esque type sound, and I work with him. But when you sign the Psychopathic or Hatchet House, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, and they're like, yo, we want you to rap over these fucking Mikey Clark beats. And you're like, no, I want to work with my fucking no-name fucking producer that's no one who cares who he is. It's like, and I feel like she could have easily said, all right, look, homie, I'm gonna do what Psychopathic wants on this first album and let them mold me. Like every fucking artist gets molded on their first album. And then on the second album, he could have come in and fucking schooled it. Just like every Juggalo on the label has done. The first album has got fucking Psychopathic's paws all over it. And then their second effort is like more them. More of an expression of themselves,
Boys, most of their first album was already written prior to signing to Psychopathic Records. And then what happened? They signed to Psychopathic Records, and the songs that they had already had beats and shit for got worked into new Mikey Clark beats.
It's the difference between One Less G in the Hood and Colton Grundy. It's the difference between Most Tasteless and Freak Show. It's the difference between Hatchet Warrior and Dirty History. And you look at those albums, and it's like, you can't say that these artists didn't benefit from that finesse, that touch,
ICP all over Twisted's first fucking album,
or at least their formula all over that album.
The presence is all over it. And then also with Blaze, we don't count the EP. One Less G in the Hood. It got that finesse on it. Jamie Madrox all over it.
I mean, it may have been all them, but I'm just saying, like, they were pushed by Psychopathic. That was a psycho that had a Hatchet fucking band on it.
ABK, prime example right there. Like all these artists, their first album, everybody has their hands in it, making sure that it turns out fresh. You got that upper hand because all these people who have already been doing it are able to come in and be like, here, let's help you get that Juggalo shine. Right? And then you get it and you express yourself more freely on your second follow-up album. This happened to everyone.
It's good shit, man. I mean, we were talking about the promo for Crimson Creek, and that was Boondocks' second album, right?
Right. And that's his favorite album that he's ever done. And I'll say that, most ninjas will agree it's his best.
And
It's
that
his,
was like mostly produced by Brian Kumo.
And isn't it kind of funny that Kuma's all over the Wraith remix albums?
Yep.
Mhm.
It's like motherfuckers that make these remixes. If you talk about remixes not being as popular, I really dug that they worked with other producers. And if other producers are going to remix, like here's a different producer on a classic Juggalo track, or here's that same producer, and now they're producing future original Juggalo classics. Kuma's the shit, man.
That's right. He even had his own show on W Fuck Off.
Wait a minute. Now I'm thinking of someone else. Didn't somebody have a fucking show and then he left? DJ Fillin. He kind of left dishonorably.
And then Prozac, he wasn't even on the label, but he had his own show and he would like talk about the paranormal, which was cool.
Yeah, and he would do that at the gathering. But yo, does anyone remember DJ Fillin?
Anywho.
Wow, that is a name I have not heard in probably a decade.
Same here. DJ who?
Who Dead Who? That's coming up soon as well. We're not there yet.
Phil, you're dead. What? Well, what else can we cover from this era then?
I mean, I think that's without the videos. That's about it. Next episode, we'll get into the seminar. So ICP's 2007.
Dude, I can get the seminar to play.
You can?
Yeah, I'll do it right now.
Did you guys talk about Toxic Terror also? I don't know if you guys did.
Whatever was going on with my YouTube connection, it's fixed now. So do you want to prep this? Do you want to set this up somehow?
So check it. We're talking one last time. We're talking Era of the Tempest, 2007. And this is ICP's seminar.
We gonna make a rain tonight, this motherfucker. Yeah. And it's all right if the sun is beating down on us, because the shine of the Juggalos is beating back on the sun.
All right. I'm just realizing I'm here. I'm at this seminar. This and the first thing he says is the sun is beating down on us. Dude, this was so fucking hot. It was so hot this year. This was the inspiration for that song "Global Warming" that Violent J gave to.
Right.
Because that came out the next year, and it was so fucking clear to me that after this gathering, Violent J fucking schooled it. Listen to the song "Global Warming." It's on Esham's Butcher Shop mixtape, or is that what it's called? The Butcher Shop. Yeah, and it's also on what did they eventually put that on? Because it's on something else too.
I think it was on DJ Clay Let Him Bleed Volume 1.
Thank you, Chaos. That's what's up.
Which we'll discuss next week, but yeah, 2007. Fucking. This is also, was this Cave and Rock?
Yeah, this is the first Cave and Rock gathering.
First Cave and Rock gathering.
All right, let me play this.
Yo, since the last time we got together, man, it's been the shit, man. Has anybody checked out Slam TV?
Yeah!
That's what we've been working on. Is anybody gonna check out Bloody Fucking Mania? Yeah!
Nice.
Yeah. That's what Slam TV all boils down to. Is what? Bloody Fucking Mania.
All right. I got to say something. I'm not going to go grab them, but I could. Maybe I will, and then I'll show them after we watch more clips. But the Slam TV DVDs, they filmed all the JCW matches during the Tempest tour, and they were putting them online, and then you got a DVD of them. And when we first started talking about the Tempest shows, something I remember I told you I had all my Florida homies up, and there was like a mob of us, and it was St. Patrick's Day. I remember at the venue, at ICP's merch booth, they were selling skate decks, skateboards, right?
That's right.
Without the wheels.
Mm-hmm.
I bought one from a best friend, and I gave it to him. And he's literally carrying around a fucking huge hunk of wood, a skate deck in the venue. It's like the equivalent of having a fucking crowbar or a baseball bat. Like, that thing could have been a weapon in the pit. Like, I have never seen them sell skate decks at a show since. And I'm not saying that anything went down, but I'm just saying.
Wasn't that Tempest era deck where it had ICP and on it, and it said ICP, but it's like the letters written in like lightning or something?
Yeah, that's the one. And it was like pink or reddish and whatever. Yeah.
We did have skate decks at Juggalo weekend this past year.
There were a couple of different versions, but I bought one, and then he was so thankful that he gave me a fucking my classic red psychopathic jersey. I got it. He gave that to me in return. That was a nice little brotherly love trade of Juggalo, gifts, because he was visiting from Florida. That's my brother from another mother. You know what I mean? Like, we discovered ICP together. It's crazy, man. Like. Traveling to gatherings, traveling across the country just to see a fucking clown show. Who does that? It's a crazy world. It's a crazy world.
And then once again, point out within the first 5 minutes, what are they promoting? Slam TV, the wrestling. I'm telling you, this was a big year for wrestling in IC.
So the storyline, if you follow it, if you actually like watch all the videos of all the tour stops of all the Slam TV episodes, the storyline does lead up to Bloody Mania. It's pretty cool the way they did that shit.
It was like a legit wrestling show. They would be like, tune in next week until.
And so when they're in Worcester on the DVD, there are moments where you can see me walking in the crowd in the background with the fucking skate deck.
I might have to go rewatch that again now.
Yeah, dude, it's funny. So anyways, I just thought I'd share that because as soon as he said that Slam TV, I'm like, oh my God, like now I'm remembering, like, yeah.
You're gonna have to do now because I've never watched those DVDs. You're gonna have to fucking load them up, and we're gonna have to sit down one day, and we're gonna watch Slam TV. We're gonna live stream it.
I think Panic was doing a series for a while where he was like watching them.
I mean, well, ICP did other, future installations of their JCW stuff. And yes, Panic is Carnival Spirit's resident wrestling mark. So I would love to get his hot take on this if, he's not here now, but
in there, we need him in there.
Yeah, I know. I always love when Panic talks about wrestling because he knows his shit.
So we'll talk later about that, but
Saturday night, tomorrow night, right? Bloody Mania tomorrow. You're gonna see more blood than a motherfucking what's that movie? Chainsaw Massacre. Face the Death. Everybody have a seat, man. Thank you. Y'all is shit. Hey, was Mac 10 the shit last night? Yeah, we got some exciting news about Mac 10 we're going to be dropping in the future.
Can you fix the screen?
Yeah, what happened?
We can't see it.
Did that just happen?
No. You never said it, but you walked away.
Why didn't you say something before?
I did. You walked away.
Well, I don't know why it's not showing it because yeah, see, that's not my fault. It looked like it was still showing it to me. That's weird. All right, can you see it now?
Yep.
But I got a little bit of news I want to tell y'all. A couple of things. First of all, now that Slam TV is wrapped up our season this year, because we're gonna do it every year for like the 5 months or 4 months before the gathering.
All right, so obviously I don't think that happened. And I don't remember any major news with Mac 10, just saying.
Nope.
We're gonna do Slam TV leading up into the gathering every year.
Every year, y'all.
Season, you know what I'm saying?
All right, where's KG when you need him? Because I'm sure he has a 665 page fucking manifesto on why that shit didn't happen.
That's right. He was
talking. Didn't come to your town this year. It's coming next year. That's my word.
Word to your mother.
We hit everywhere from Butthole, Montana, to fucking Pisshole, fucking Oregon. And if y'all ain't never been to Pisshole, it's the shit out there. That's right. Taking them from Mad Peach.
I don't know about Butthole, Montana yet, but I think I've got family moving to Montana in the future, so I'll probably be visiting Butthole, Montana in the future. I'll let y'all know.
Yeah, let us know how that is.
But now that we're done with this season of Slam TV, it's time to dip back into the studio. And one of the first things I wanted to let y'all know, one of the first projects we're going to be working on back in the studio, now that we're out of the Slam TV television studios and back into the recording studios, is something brand new from Dark Lotus, y'all. And fuck, man, we're real charged about this Dark Lotus record.
So what? Remind me. I know I could figure it out on my own, but remind me, when did the Opaque Brotherhood drop? Was it the end of, or was it the beginning of 07? Or, well, I guess it has to be at the end of 07 because this is the gathering they're talking about.
No, Opaque Brotherhood was 08. That's next year.
Oh, okay, so it was the beginning of 08. Yeah. All right.
And it's the first thing we're doing right when we get back to the Lotus Pod. It's the first project we're getting into is Dark Lotus.
Yeah. We'll talk about a major bomb. I mean, well, I don't know. That's good news. That was good news to me. I got the Lotus tattoo on my arm. I actually got this tattoo a year later in 08.
So the year this album came out.
Yeah. I actually got it at because that was the year that I was actively rapping, you know, and I did like a lot of shows, and one of them was called Rock the Ink, kind of like Rock the Bells, but called Rock the Ink, and it was like a tattoo festival / you know what I mean? So there was music and there was tattoos, and so I got my tattoo right after I performed.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really fucking awesome. It was in Providence, Rhode Island. It was dope.
And just so y'all know, now that Shaggy and myself are stepping out of the video editing room, stepping into the video editing room, and making its way onto the internet every week, is Twisted's new show called Go to Hell with Twisted. And now, listen, man, quite fucking frankly, if you don't mind me frankly fucking speaking, if your internet ain't up to par and you got a piece of shit fucking calculator computer and that bitch can't even download a little bit of visual freshness, let me give you some tactics. First of all, I'm trying to let you know how you can see Slam TV and Go to Hell with Twisted and all the other freshness that we've been posting. I know. If you don't have a fucking computer, there's a million ways to steal Pete. Go to your homie's house.
All right. How awesome is it that, you know, internet connectivity is like a thing? You know, it's like, hey, we're putting something out there for ninjas, but if you don't quite have the capability to do it yet, you know, I just think that's funny, man, because they really were always on the bound. They were like on the cusp, the cutting edge, you know, always testing the limits of how they can reach us and express themselves.
Which there are a few clips of that show, Go to Hell with Twisted. I thought it was a funny show.
I don't recall it. I'm sure if I saw it, I would remember it, but I don't remember how it was different than anything.
It was like a talk show almost.
I mean, Twisted did a bunch of things. You know, they had the Purple Show.
Yeah, it was like their version of a talk show, basically.
I mean, even
like
Born Twisted is kind of like this, you know, parody type, you know, a parody of the Hollywood True Stories, you know.
It's like a parody of Behind the Music, which was on VH1.
Yeah, right. The VH1 Behind the Music, exactly.
Which was a good documentary series.
Yeah, it was. Anyway, you got me thinking about Motley Crue's fucking episode and how it didn't even scratch the surface, and you know.
Oh, that episode was awesome.
But like with ICP fixing to have all these documentaries on Netflix and their own life story documentary series and all that, and it's like I'm sure Twisted I'm sure all these guys want to cement their legacies in some sort of fucking filmography, and you know what I mean. But I like the way that we do it. I mean, I like what we're doing now, the way that we fucking go down memory lane and actually, because the conversational aspect of jogging each other's memories, it's fucking fresh, you know. I'd like to invite some more OG Juggalos onto YouTube.
Oh, definitely.
And have a conversation like this where we talk about, you know, certain shows and tours and gatherings that we all attended back in the day, and you know, and how that's fucking how that affects us. Shall we continue with the fucking seminar?
Yeah.
That's the most obvious one. Go to a fucking fellow Juggalo or Juggalette's house and peek through that way. If you don't know anybody who has a fucking computer, you can mosey in to any fucking Kinko's. I know y'all got Kinko's, and Kinko's are everywhere. You can go to a fucking public library, a place I'm sure we're all very familiar with. We spent fucking hours at the fucking library.
Why is that funny? I don't get it. You mean Juggalos aren't at the library?
I know I do. I know mad about dinosaurs. If you don't have a public library or you're not sure where it's at, which I understand, you can go to any fucking hotel, anywhere, and walk in that bitch and pretend you're a guest and go to what's called the business center at the hotel. And there you will find not only one, not only two.
He's not lying. Oh my God. That was a real thing. I've done that. I've gone into hotels to use their fucking internet.
I've gone into libraries and done it.
Yeah, I have too. I mean, but I'm not even kidding. Like, I've utilized libraries for so many things. You can go to the library and just take out movies for free. It's like Blockbuster for free.
And this was back in those days when I would go to the library to check out their websites because I couldn't do it at school because they had their websites blocked.
When I first learned that you could go to a library and just take DVDs, movies out for free, the first time I found that out, I asked, what's the limit? Like, how many DVDs am I allowed to take out at once? And they were like, well, there is no limit. I fucking walked out of there with a stack like this. It was like, I was like 25 fucking movies. I eventually had to return like half of them without even watching them. Like, I just went ape shit. I was like, just testing them. I was like, really? Really? All right, check this out.
No, he went to their back room, y'all, and got their porn videos.
Oh yeah, no. The library does not have at least my library doesn't have a back room with porn videos. Chaos. I don't know about Colorado.
That's a good question.
What kind of fucking libraries you got out there?
All right, hold on. I got the wrong window.
A whole multiple slew of computers awaiting your fucking fingertips. You know, it ain't gotta be a red roof thing. It ain't gotta be a Holiday Inn. It can be $1 a fucking hour crackhead, prostitute, fucking bitch hotel. You know what I'm saying? They still got them motherfuckers. And you don't need to rent shit. You just walk in that bitch, walk into the business center, which is the room, and you try out a fucking internet. Where time, you can download anything. Porn, fucking how to make a bomb, whatever you're looking for, because that's not your fucking computer. Just make sure you check out what the fuck you got going on while you're on the fucking internet. Just make sure if you're looking at kitty porn, don't use your line. Use your online name, use your line. Yeah, that's the benefit. The feds will, by the time the feds come kicking down the door, you're out of that bitch. Right. Right. So those are a few tactics and ways for you to check out everything we got going on. What is that? Is that a giant penis back there?
Where's Chris Hansen?
I've been seeing that motherfucking dick since yesterday.
That's funny because everybody I was hanging with at that gathering got pictures with that dick. that guy would walk around every gathering with the same dick. Like he had the inflatable penis, and so he would just walk around with the inflatable penis every gathering.
Didn't everyone eventually give him a name, but I forget what his name was?
Hey, tell me that dick got some skins last night. It's fuck. Look at it, he's like, how come you never see a big blow up neck anywhere? Who wants to look at a big ass fucking dick? Show me a big blow up neck in this bitch. I'll tell you why. If it was a big ass blow up neck walking around here, I'd be fucking.
All right. So my first thought was, wow, I wonder why that didn't happen. And now I'm like, oh, that's why. You're right. Somebody cosplaying as a big vagina, they're just going to get a bunch of dicks fucking rocketing at it.
All right, y'all. So we're headed, make sure you all get hip to what we're doing on the internet because it's all for you, man. And we're putting a lot of time and a lot of fucking energy and a lot of karma into the shit for your viewing pleasure. We're trying to be not only your hearing pleasure, but your fucking Juggalo viewing pleasure as well. So make sure you take advantage of what's there on the internet for y'all to see, because there's some definite dope shit, man. And we're trying real hard on that shit. Yep.
Yo, by 07, like you said, they finally joined MySpace, you know? And before they joined MySpace, for the few years that MySpace was growing, I mean, I feel like even when I joined it, it was already starting to decline. But it was the way that I was able to share Dear Joe and Joey with Juggalos. But I also noticed that Psychopathic had no presence on MySpace, but MySpace was kind of primarily about music. I mean, there were artist profiles, and if you had a band that had a profile, you could listen to their music. So I created the Psychopathic Records MySpace profile, and I uploaded like 5 fucking songs on the player, and every month I would change it, and I would put 5 different songs, and it would always be like 5 dope ass songs, and every month it would get mad plays, and then I would keep a blog in the blog section, and I would just list every month. I would put the names of the songs so you could actually see, you know, the list of through the blogs of all the songs played. Yo, I did that for like over a year, I think. And then guess what happened? Psychopathic had it removed. They filed a complaint, and MySpace fucking deleted it, the whole account, right from under me with no warning. And
They were like, no, we're going to get our own official MySpace.
Well, no, they did. They created their own official MySpace, and they deleted mine because I was infringing. But I was just fucking there because there was a void, and they were not filling the void yet.
Well, back in those days on MySpace, you could create an account for any fucking artist.
That's what I'm saying. So I did.
There'd be 5 or 6 of the same artist. I remember because I would go through them and try to find the different songs because they made it where you could download the music you're uploading. So this was one of the first places where you could download music without downloading something that's going to fuck up your computer.
Yeah, it was a safe download. Yep. Yeah, and that's actually it's actually something I talked about on Fuck Off Radio when I called in. They because they asked me about it, and I had Dear Joe and Joey reached 50,000 plays, and then I deleted that MySpace account and made a new one and started from scratch. And the reason I did that is because I wanted to change my URL officially to BSTMSTR, because before it was like Beastmaster, like written out fully with like, I don't know, like with the date at the end or something. I can't even remember what it was, but yeah, so I deleted the whole fucking account, and Nathan Extra was like, wow, so you kind of went out like Seinfeld. Like Seinfeld retired and just stopped after 9 seasons when they were the #1 show. And, you know, I had a MySpace account with a song that had 50,000 plays. And like literally as soon as it hit 50,001 plays, I deleted the account and made a new one. I took a screenshot first.
That's funny shit.
But yeah, man, it earned me a fucking performance at this gathering. This gathering, the one that these guys are talking here.
Check it out. Nowadays, every juggler in this room right now knows how the fuck it is. You know what I'm saying? It's like record stores are closing down left and right because of the internet. You know what I'm saying? So if you ain't got one, at least you know somebody's got one. You know what I'm saying? So the visual is there for you to peep as long as you're willing to peep it. That's right. There's some shit we're posting out there that's just as good as the CDs. Now, speaking of videos and video projects, I know there's been a lot of juggalos waiting for big money rustlers.
So what? They're going to talk about big money rustlers. We still got like, what, 3 or 4 years?
Yep.
But we only got like, 5 more minutes left of this video.
Now this falls back on what we was just saying. Slam TV, Go to Hell with Twisted, the videos, all the shit we've been posting on the internet, all that shit is practice. All of that shit is us homing in on our fucking skills, because now, at the end of this year, early next year, starting January and February, the entire staff, the entire fucking crew, the family, all of our homies, and everybody we know, starting in January, is all heading to the West Coast to start filming Big Money Rustlers. That's right. So don't think about it, because unless you think about it, the more quicker that shit is gonna come. And by the middle of next year, by the time the gathering rolls around next year, we might even be able to do something fresh, like premiere that bitch at the gathering next year.
Again, they did that, but they just did that in like what, 2010, 2011, some shit like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm confused. We can fucking premiere that bitch at the gathering next year. That would be fucking dope. Get about 7,000 lazy boy chairs, stick them out there in the field, right? Get a fucking big ass popcorn machine in this bitch. Man, scoop, it just blows popcorn right in your face. Yeah.
More like a bale of hay and a chicken leg.
So, the wait is almost over, and that is our word. Now, we might have said a lot of things about Big Money Rustlers over the years, but we have never sat up here and told you that that bitch is definitely coming out next year like we are right now. So we're letting you know, get ready for Big Money fucking Rustlers, because it's in production and it's underway. Yeah. Don't forget about Big Baby Chips. Oh, that's right. That's the character I play is Big Baby Chips. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a gambling typhoon in this one. I'm a gambling boss. And I ride around on a fucking coach with horses. It's a Western. Y'all know that, right? It's a prequel. It's a prequel to the sequels. What it is it's the ancestors of Big Baby Sweets and Sugar Bear from back in the Western days. It's Sugar Bear's great nephew, Sugar Wolf. That's right. It is the first-ass Western, and we grew up around on horses with Dayton's and everything else. And it's gonna be a fucking shit. Oh, what?
You know what I like is the Shaggy and the Creep, merchandise lines that they've been putting out. I sprung for a few of them, and one of them I got is the wolf. He's got his number one fingers up. It's fucking awesome.
Western, yes. 10-gallon hats. Fucking tight-ass fucking boot cutter blue jeans. Wrangler strap down so tight, you can see the dick outline with some chaps. All of that dope. Motherfucking spurs with Chinese stars on the end of them. You know what I'm talking about? Hold on. No dick outlines. No dick outlines. Them are jokes, man. Some people were like, dick outlines. What the fuck are they talking? Gotta hack with the language.
Go get some titties in the movie.
Oh, no. You think there ain't gonna be no fucking titties in the movie? Everything's short of penetration. It's gonna be titties in the opening scene, dog. They're gonna be Jay's titties. Hey, and let it be known, there will be many opportunities during the filming of Big Money Rustlers. And once again, the filming is happening in January and February, and maybe a little bit of March next year for Juggalos to be in the movie as well. Just stay posted, because we're going to be on the contest and all types of shit for Juggalos to be in there, at least as extras chilling in the background, because it's going to be an Old West movie, and we need a bunch of Old West motherfuckers walking around. We're going to need nothing but extras. And I see nothing but extras chilling. Yeah, where you the stars? We're going to have the sweet-ass bar fight scene and all of that shit. I'm going to take Shaggy and throw him up on the bar and slide him all the way down. You know how they do in the fucking Westerns. I want to see one hand. Who about to be the town Trump? See, we're taking new school. Who about to be the town Crystal Meth Head? Right. Town Trump, the Crystal Meth Head can't hold a candle to the fucking town Trump. The clown Trump.
Hey. Yeah, that ended kind of in a spiral there.
Do you
But
still have those videos that I sent you?
what, you sent me videos?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
interviews that came out around this time.
I sent you two as well of the seminar.
Oh my god. I don't know if we have time to watch all these, but we will do that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, those G4 freestyles 101. Well, that's what's up, man. That seminar was the shit. But
Yeah.
again, I mean, that was definitely a little premature to think that they were going to release that shit in 08.
Yeah, we I want to say, was it 2010 or 11? It was 29.
2010.
10? Okay, 10. Gotcha. Because I remember seeing that's right, because I remember seeing advertisements for it at the 09 gathering.
You know, the 10th annual gathering of the Juggalos was the thing, and they were
Right.
filming, and then when the next year it was like Big Money Rustlers, but they had the DVD of Family Underground. So a Family Underground and Big Money Rustlers were two DVDs in your pocket at that gathering, you know?
No, Family Underground came out 09 because who was it? During one of the performances, someone was throwing out copies off the stage
No,
of that.
I was filmed in 09 because I was filmed at the 10th.
I have a copy of the Family Underground that I got at the 09 gathering.
All right, well, whatever the fuck, man. Look, I'm fucking tired and stoned, so I'm not gonna argue with you. I remember the gatherings, and I'm in the Family Underground, and it's dope as fuck. I got a lot of friends that are in it, and I got my copy at the gathering, but it was filmed before it came out. That's my point. I was at both gatherings when it was filmed and when it came out.
How many years at Cave and Rock? Because this was the first. I want to say they were there at least 4 years.
No, I think more than that.
Yeah, like I said, at least, because
I mean, I went to 5 in a row, so and they were there more than I went.
Gotcha. Damn. Yeah, because I know 09, that's when I went. It was there, and everything was already established. You already had, everyone knew where everything was at. You want to go Drug Bridge, it's over here. You want to go to Hepatitis Lake, over here.
Yeah, well, the grounds didn't change, so it definitely became familiar territory. Hatchet Landings was the spot.
Well, hell yeah. I think
And-
on that
And Hog Rock, you had to go and fucking, if you wanted cell reception, you had to actually go up to the fucking pig statue at the top of the fucking.
right. You know what? I actually I got a bunch of fucking free merch from that trash can, from that dumpster. I was like fucking rolling on ecstasy, and I took a shower, and there was like someone like just took off their fucking shirt and threw it in the fucking trash along with a pair of fucking Riddlebox shorts. And it was a fucking Psychopathic Riders shirt. Like, covered in fucking soaked in Faygo. But I took these fucking Faygo soaked clothes that some ninja didn't want, put them in a fucking plastic bag, took them home, washed them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was at that fucking, I remember that was where the cell reception was at little fucking like outhouse fucking bathroom area / kitchen.
I mean, talking about Cave and Rock is talking about like several fucking years of shit, But if you're really talking about the Tempest era, you're just talking about that first year, the year that it wasn't all familiar, because things were all very new that year. That year, a lot of dust was kicked up, and the whole like whooping cough, the gathering plague became a thing. And maybe it was the thing earlier. It certainly wasn't the thing when we were in convention centers in 01, 02, But Cave and Rock, we would all come back from the gathering with the plague. I don't know if the plague was a thing at Crystal Forest, all right, but it was at Cave and Rock. Everyone got sick. I mean, that's why the gathering had to be canceled this year, and because with coronavirus going around, we already fucking basically all joined the fucking specimen, sample dish. We all, it just becomes one big mosh pit, one big fucking
Right.
One big swirl of germs with the Fago everywhere. Yeah, good times, man. I mean, bless our immune systems.
Check it. I think that's a good point to go ahead and end this then, if you want, and we can pick up next time. We'll go ahead and finish the seminar and get into 08.
Well, that's it. We finished the seminar.
Well, no, there's like 5 more fucking parts to that.
Oh, that was just part 1?
Yeah. So,
right.
I mean, I think it's a good place to stop, though. We stopped with them talking about Big Money Rustlers, which, doesn't come out for many years, but it's funny hearing them saying it's coming out next year. We're going to have chairs out there and everybody's going to watch the premiere. And
I don't care about the projections, and they promote shit. It always takes 3 times longer to come out. That's nothing new, and it's not a big deal. But it is cool that like they had the plans in motion, and
right.
It's like some things they promote they don't ever end up doing, but they ended up doing that, and it came out pretty fucking dope.
Yeah. We heard about Slam TV, which was supposed to happen every fucking year. Like they ended up doing, I believe, 2 seasons, which were fresh. And then they still continued to do JCW, just not as Slam TV. But it's dope going back and watching all this shit, seeing like everything that they planned to do, what really happened, what didn't. And I don't know, man, this is fun. I'm excited for next week. We'll finish this seminar.
Okie dokie. Chaos, you still there?
Yeah.
You got any final words on the Tempest era, on Quest for Shangri-La, on Independence Day, on Boondocks, Clockwork Gray, or any of this shit we've been discussing tonight?
Well, like I said, this era was when I first started really like dabbling, going to shows. Finally, after being down for so many years, I don't know if you guys mentioned this during like the Toxic Terror. I know that tour happened like for only a select dates, and then they had to cancel it because didn't Monoxide like tear his ACL or something?
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember, but
yeah,
I know they finally did come around, or maybe they came around before that happened.
Yeah. I know they did that Toxic Terror EP, and there's actually a song with Master P on there.
I mean, look, that's the kind of thing that if that type of injury like affected something on the schedule that you were gonna. I remember very well when Violent J left the Bizarre Bazaar in-store signing, like in the ambulance. Like, I don't know what happened, but they rushed him away, and I wasn't able to get his autograph.
I know during some of the Tempest tours, like he wasn't able to make some of them because he was sick.
Yeah, or those shows where he was having panic attacks and he was ripping his dreadlocks out, and he was fucking, on that Malenko tour or whatever. Like, I mean, I'm sure there was a Juggalo that remembers him just fucking disappearing.
There was a day or 2 before that when I saw him and he had dreadlocks.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But what was I going to say?
I mean, I know during their set, during the Tempest tour, they had their set. It was like set up like an insane asylum.
It is cool how Shaggy 2 Dope was scratching for Boondocks because I don't know, that's something that we hadn't really seen. And Shaggy had just had his moment in the limelight with Fuck the Fuck Off coming out the year.
Yeah.
And I know during their
solo,
I know during the set they would be like rapping, and then they'd be like, we'll be right back. And then they act like they're going backstage, and then you hear screaming, and then they come out, and then all their white shirts are like having fake blood on it.
You know, Shaggy had his own tour. DJ Clay was up there with him. So yeah, new shit was happening.
That's like one of my favorite sets that they always like did for like that era, because the stage was all set up like an asylum and whatnot.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely dope times, as I always say.
Yep, this is when I finally started going to shows after being down since '97.
Did you ever drink Spasmatic back then?
Nope, I would always see it at the record stores, but I never tried it. That's why I said I heard it was actually really good, though.
You don't fuck with energy drinks?
Well, I do, but just back then I didn't, because I was only 17.
If you remember the old Red Bull formula, it was something like that.
Then yes, I probably can tell how it would taste.
Most of those like energy drinks that they sold, like novelty energy drinks back then, all had the same fucking taste and just a different label thrown on them.
Right.
I think this was the year where they also released those NECA action figures. I'm trying to think.
No, that was what was that?
I think that's next year.
Yeah, no, because there's absolutely no advertisements in any of the albums for it. That's how I know.
I mean, I would check, but my action figures are still in storage, but I'm getting them out.
So with that, yeah, I think next week we're gonna pick up where we left off in the seminar. We'll talk about all the releases of 2008. I'll look and see if we have seminar of 2008. If not, then I mean, we'll just go from there. But we'll be continuing the Tempest.
I like 2008 a lot. I did a lot of dope things in 2008 musically, and Juggalo's. It's like a love letter to Juggalos. Maybe
2008. We'll get to talk about like the if you want to call it this, kind of like the explosion of the underground, because this is when you get tunnel runners, and we got the Hatchet House, and this is going to be a year where we're really working on forming the underground outside of the gathering, because a lot of these names are known just from shows, like local shows and the gathering. But then in 2008, you get the tunnel runners.
I mean, look, Jay and Shaggy were acting like the internet was some strange fucking weird thing from the future that no one understood, and they were just like really like trying to relate to the bottom of the barrel there, like, for all y'all that don't have internet. But I mean, look, I had been fucking with the internet heavily for years up to that point, and I never had a problem fucking watching those fucking Slam TV episodes. I'm just saying.
By 2007, I was already like over 10 years deep in the internet.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm just saying, like, so for them to be kind of stressing that, they just want everyone. They're just stressing, hey, everyone, check out this thing we're doing on the internet. Don't tell us you don't have the internet. Like.
Yeah, I remember like they're saying like going to the library or going to like random ass spots like around this time, because laptops were big around 2007. So I had a laptop, and I would go to the library, and I'd sit out front like at night, and I would, what I mean, like do my thing on the internet, ripping off the fucking Wi-Fi at like fucking 10 o'clock at night.
Something else I was just thinking before we sign off is, speaking of laptops, because I know that Mikey Clark produced the Tempest, I think while he was hospitalized, if I remember this correctly.
I believe so too.
Yeah, because I remember he was actually talking about it at the gathering. He did a seminar at a Cave and Rock gathering. I don't remember which year, but I went to it. and he actually like spilled a lot of he told a lot of stories about things I had no clue he was involved in. Like he talked about recording with ICP back in the day, Esham recording, because Mikey Clark recorded I think it was Booming Words from Hell.
Yeah, I remember this story.
Yeah. So it's just and then he told the story about the Tempest, and so that was news to me. I mean, there was some shit going on in his life at that time.
Yeah, I don't remember like the stuff about the Tempest, but I do have like memory of him talking about recording with Esham, because I remember he said that he had like Esham had his like goons behind him, and he spit the fucking verse and it'd be flawless, and then Mike had to tell him like, so I need you to do another take, and he's like, what do you mean another take? I just spit my song perfect. What are you talking about?
This motherfucker just wants to get double paid. Like,
yeah, exactly. I remember like he was talking about that shit he had, and then he sat down and then like he did like the second tape, and it was flawless once again, but he needed a third take, and he he was having trouble like telling Isha, I'm like, bro, I'm sorry, this is how this works. I need you to do this.
oh, I love it. Anyway, that's like neither here nor there, but I think what I can tell you is that he had something going on, like he had an operation or he had something. He was in the hospital and he was kind of in a bad way, but he still fucking turned out that fucking album.
If that's the case, if that's the case, then big props to Mike Clark for coming through on that one, because
like this was definitely not ICP and Mikey Clark working in the studio together. This was different. They were working remotely this time, I think.
Right. Like we didn't get to like really talk about the album itself. We'll pick up more on that next time or the episode after that. Who knows how long the Tempest will take us to get through, because this is
it took us 2 fucking episodes to get through the calm. You think we can't fucking spend another episode just talking about that album? I actually had things I wanted to say about the album we didn't even get to,
Exactly. And we're going on 3 hours here. So I mean, this is gonna be probably at least a 3-parter. So just everybody strap in, get your popcorn ready, because we're gonna be doing this, hopefully every week if it allows us.
All right. With that being said, how about we shut this down and call it a night? Fucking Chaos, Cali Green, everybody watching, you guys are fucking awesome. I'm Beastmaster. Peace the fuck out. Always remember to fuck the fuck off, motherfuckers.